Good evening and welcome to Falcon Media Sports Network pregame coverage for some Falcon hockey. Getting ready for another night of Falcon hockey over at the Slater Family Ice Arena. I'm Nate Henners here in the WBGU 88.1 FM studio at the Killeen Center, joined tonight by Andrew Holkowski.
How's it going, Nate? Happy to be here.
Yeah, and we got an exciting matchup tonight. Of course, you were out at the Slater Family Ice Arena last night for a pretty historic night last night.
Oh, yeah. 9 goals. First time that the hockey team has scored that since December 6th of 2019.
So yeah, we'll talk more about last night's matchup coming up here in a few. Also coming up, we'll preview how the Falcons look going into tonight's matchup, as well as Ferris State. Again, the Falcons, though, getting ready to take on Ferris State for a second night tonight over at the Slater Family Ice Arena. We'll talk about all of that and what else is going on around Falcon athletics coming up after this. You're listening to the Falcon Media Sports Network pregame show on WBGU 88.1 FM.
BG Women's Swim aims to stay undefeated on the season as they host the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley to Cooper Pool on Friday, November 14th and Saturday, November 15th. Falcon Media Sports Network's Dawson Pelter will have a recap of the meet on bgfalconmedia.com.
Are you a fan of BG Falcon Media and the Falcon Media Sports Network? You can show your support for BGSU student media by donating at the bottom of the page of stories on bgfalconmedia.com.
Welcome back to Falcon Media Sports Network coverage as the Falcon hockey team gets ready to take on the Ferris State Bulldogs once again tonight. And Andrew, talking about tonight's matchup, we can't really talk about tonight's matchup without mentioning what happened last night. Again, the Falcons winning 9-5 in a 14-goal game, which they have not had since 2019, and quite an impressive night overall scoring-wise last night.
Yeah, I mean, it was absolutely ridiculous. And, to really add on to the historic, train that we're on here, Noah Morneau with the hat trick. That was his first hat trick of his Bowling Green career that puts him at 6 goals on the season, as well as 22 shots. He's +5, and he has 3 blocks. So he was fantastic last night, and I'm sure we're going to see more of him again tonight. And another player who really stood out to me was Dominic Ryman. He had 2 goals last night, putting him at 3 on the year, and he also put in 20 shots on the season, and he's also had 4 blocks. However, the offense might have been fantastic, but I do think the defense was a little bit lacking. Allowing 5 goals, that really is going to lose you a lot of hockey games.
Yeah, and talking both sides of the defense too. There was a reason last night why 14 goals were scored, and that was the defense last night. The defense allowed 14 goals to be scored on both teams.
Yeah. I think especially for Bowling Green, I'm sure head coach Dennis Williams is really hitting it home with his team, late last night and then early today that, we've got to be more sound. We've got to be driving to the puck, especially when it's on our side of the ice. You just got to be more aware, make sure you're not, blowing your zones and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And, definitely interesting to see. Now, you were over at the game last night.
Yes, sir.
How did both teams, look playing-wise?
Kind of like we've been harping on already, obviously offensively it was electrifying. It was explosive. There was one really nice goal. I think it was either end of the second period or early in the third where the Ferris State goalie was, away from the goal. It was a totally empty shot, and then across the ice it was hit in for a goal. So, and, the crowd went absolutely crazy, and I have no doubt that the crowd's going to bring it again tonight. They were a big factor in Bowling Green's win last night at the Slater. And I think it'll be an exciting game, especially, there again tonight for their second game of the series.
Yeah, definitely. And also talk about something kind of explosive that happened last night, a fight breaking out during the game.
Yeah, tempers were flaring for sure. Players have been chippy throughout the first and second period. Some pushing and shoving, nothing crazy, but then it seems things got a little bit out of hand kind of toward the middle of the third period there. I think Zelenko was in on some of the contact there. A couple of guys got some penalty time. A couple of guys served 10-minute technicals. Someone got a 2-minute in the box. So, I think if you're Bowling Green, you want to, keep your heads cool a bit tonight.
Yeah, definitely. And now, just what was the energy like in the stadium last night, or in the arena last night, with that constant goal scoring? I mean, the goal scoring was pretty constant throughout the entire matchup last night.
Yeah, I mean, the entire arena was buzzing. Just you could feel the energy in the air. You could feel how excited and into the game the crowd was, and just neither team could be stopped when shooting the puck.
Yeah, definitely. All right, coming up, we will talk more about what's going on around the CCHA and Falcon Athletics today as we continue on with our Falcon Media Sports Network pregame show. Keep it here. You're listening to WBGU 88.1 FM.
BGSU football begins match and play against Akron on Tuesday, November 18th at Dwight L. Perry Stadium. Tune in to Falcon Media Sports Network Tyler Kavlitz and Sean Connolly at 7 p.m. for kickoff. There will also be an in-studio pregame, halftime, and postgame show hosted by Nate Hinners, Artie Abrego, and Brendan Fagan, all starting at 6:35 p.m. on Falcon Radio.
When it comes to a gun suicide attempt, all it takes is a moment.
My son, Ricky, took his life by the use of a firearm. It broke me, and I contemplated suicide. My grandson, I was gonna have to be here for him. I still own my firearm. I keep it in a safe because I want to keep my grandson and myself safe.
Store your guns, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo. Hear more safe stories at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
Falcon Media Sports Network produces more feature stories about BGSU athletics than any other media outlet. Make sure to head over to bgfalconmedia.com and follow Falcon Media Sports Network at BG_FMSN on Twitter/X and BG Falcon Media on Instagram and Facebook to stay up to date with all of our content.
Welcome back to Falcon Media Sports Network pregame coverage as the Falcon hockey team gets ready to take on Ferris State once again tonight from the Slater Family Ice Arena. Puck drop coming up, by the way, at 6:07, an hour earlier than last night. But yeah, that's coming up tonight at 6:07. Before then, though, me and Andrew will keep you guys entertained, at least, here in studio.
Hopefully.
So. Yeah. So we talked about the Falcons for a bit. Now moving on to Ferris State. You again were out at the Slater last night, and what were some things you saw from Ferris State, and how could they affect tonight's matchup?
Now, their leading scorer on the season for goals, he has 7 on the year. With 2 last night, that was Josh Zeri. I thought he played exceptionally well. His presence was felt around the ice the entire night. Obviously he got the 2 goals. He played exceptionally well. And then Gavin Best, another guy who had a really good game. He's a forward. 5 goals on the year. He had notched 1 in last night. I think you're going to want to keep those 2 guys contained, because if tonight's going to be anything like it was last night, those guys are going to be flying around the ice and shooting it from everywhere.
Yeah, definitely. And taking a look now at what's going on around the CCHA. So other matchups starting around 6:07 tonight, too. Got Bemidji State and Michigan Tech. By the way, I did say that correctly tonight.
There we go.
Yeah, it was a struggle for me last time I did hockey, but I am improving as I continue on with my hockey season and hockey knowledge.
You love to see it.
Yeah. So, all right, anyways, get into what's going on around the CCHA. Besides the Bulldogs and the Falcons tonight, again, Bemidji State and Michigan Tech coming up at 6:07 up from Michigan. And then we have the Minnesota State Mavericks taking on the Lake Superior State Lakers. That's also at 6:07 up in Michigan. And then St. Thomas Tommies taking on the Augustana. I need to get my pronunciation correct on that. I'm sure Nathan Burkett will correct me. We were talking before how the CCHA is different from the MAC.
Yeah, quite significantly,
So for us other sports people, it's going to be a little bit just getting used to this hockey season. But for our listeners out there, by the time we get to like February, we're going to have this down.
Oh, yeah, it'll be second nature by then. Don't you worry.
Yeah. So if you hear us mispronounce something, just be aware we're learning. And by the time February comes around, we will get yelled at enough to be corrected.
Yeah, we'll be experts, right?
All right, anyways, the final one again, the St. Thomas Tommies and the St. Augustina Vikings, coming up at 6:07 Central Time, so 7:07 our time. All right, anyways, taking a look at what else is going on around Falcon Athletics, because it was a busy day for Falcon Athletics. Of course, the football team not in action for this Saturday as they have their final home game of the season coming up on Tuesday, taking on Akron Tuesday night. But besides football, there were some other sporting events that did play today. We had volleyball had a matchup against Buffalo. They won last night, and tonight they won once again up in Buffalo, today winning in 3 sets. So pretty impressive for the volleyball team there. Men's basketball also coming up tonight. They're down in Davidson, North Carolina. And that's coming up later on tonight too. So busy sports matchup. We'll keep you guys updated, by the way, on that men's basketball game, as we were unable to do a broadcast from Davidson just because we had volleyball on Falcon Radio and hockey over here, so 2 stations, 3 games does make it a little difficult, but we will do our best to keep you updated. All right, coming up, we will continue talking about tonight's matchup as we get you ready for some Falcon hockey here on WBGU 88.1 FM. Right now, let's take a look at what's going on with our Falcon Media Sports Network Athlete of the Week.
This week's Falcon Media Sports Network Athlete of the Week is men's basketball's Javonte Campbell. The senior guard from Muskogee, Oklahoma leads the nation with 17 steals and tied the program record with 8 steals against Lemoyne. He is averaging a steal every 5 minutes played this season. Last year, he set the BGSU single-season record with 90 steals. Campbell has 2 20-plus point games against Lemoyne and Bethany. You're seeing a very intelligent basketball player at his best, said head coach Todd Simon. In 3 games, the senior averaged 20.7 points while tallying 17 steals, 10 assists, and has a shooting percentage of 52%. This has been this week's Falcon Media Sports Network's Athlete of the Week.
If you served honorably in our nation's armed forces and you're looking for a way to continue serving your fellow veterans and your community, then join AMVETS. Each year, AMVETS members volunteer millions of hours at VA healthcare facilities from coast to coast, helping to improve the lives of their fellow veterans through the VA Voluntary Services Program. AMVETS posts and departments also participate in a wide variety of community service projects, ranging from Americanism in our schools to supporting the Special Olympics and Boy Scouts of America. Even if you no longer wear the uniform today, you can still serve through the AMVETS by joining today at amvets.org.
BG men's basketball heads on the road for the first time this season after their best start over a decade, battling Davidson on Saturday, November 15th at 6 p.m. Falcon Media Sports Network's Tyler Kavlitz and Artie Abrego will record a broadcast from North Carolina, which will be available at bgfalconmedia.com.
All right, welcome back to Falcon Media Sports Network hockey coverage. Just about 10 minutes away now from puck drop over at the Slater Family Ice Arena as the Falcons get ready to take on the Ferris State Bulldogs once again this evening. By the way, you are listening to WBGU FM in Bowling Green, Ohio. So, Andrew, what are you looking for your Falcon Media Sports Network athlete of the game?
I think, given his performance last night with the hat trick, I think Noah Morneau is going to be the guy to look out for. His presence was felt, the entirety of the match. He played fantastic, and that kind of leads me into my Falcon 4 keys of the game. I think the first key is going to be to get the offense going again. Get Morneau the puck. Get Hotson the puck. Get Ryman the puck. You're going to want to get, all those guys played exceptionally well against Ferris State last night, and I have no reason to believe that they can't light it up again tonight. I also think another important key for tonight's matchup is going to be to keep tempers under control. We saw a pretty big brawl in the game last night. I'm sure head coach Dennis Williams wants to see his players be a little bit more cooled off, less hot-headed, less emotional, and just more focused and ready to go. And then I also think getting the defense going is going to be important. The goalie, Jack Steinman, he allowed 5 goals on the game last night. He had, I think he had 16 saves, I want to say. but, allowing 5 goals even with that many saves, that's just something that I'm sure that the Falcons are going to want to have back, and they're going to want him to play a little bit better. And then I also think another key to the game is going to be the crowd. They really showed up last night, and I think if the crowd shows out again tonight, I think it'll be a quite intimidating environment for Ferris State to have to take on the Falcons in.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's take one more quick break right now, and we'll hand things on out to Ben and Nathan at the Slater Family Ice Arena coming up after this. You're listening to WBGU 88.1 FM.
Did you know Falcon Media Sports Network has video highlights of BGSU athletic events? To see all the moments from your favorite BGSU teams and athletes, head over to the BG Falcon Media YouTube channel or view them on bgfalconmedia.com.
Don't miss the morning show on WBGU FM every weekday from 6 to 9 a.m. Join the morning show team weekday mornings to hear about local news, local weather reports, community programming, financial market reports, coaches show with coaches from BGSU and BGHS, and live newsmaker interviews. Listen live every weekday from 6 to 9 a.m. locally on 88.1 FM or streaming online at bgfalconmedia.com.
BGSU men's soccer's 2025 season came to a close on November 5th when the Falcons fell short versus the NIU Huskies by a final score of 4-0, finishing the season with a 5-8-4 record as well as an above 500 record at Concord Stadium, winning one conference game this season at home against the Bradley University Braves by a final score of 3-1. The Orange and Brown eventually placed 7th in the conference, finishing above Bradley. Senior forward Trace Terry was named All-NVC First Team, one of 11 awarded this honor. BG scored 16 goals this season, with 8 of those at Cochran Stadium. Overall, the Falcons finished the season short, yet will return a total of 22 players for the next campaign. This has been a 60 Seconds in Falcon Athletics.
Millions of people all over the world go hungry, while we waste our land and water resources. Did you know that raising animals for human consumption uses 8 times as much water as growing fruits, vegetables, and grains? And that the same amount of land can produce 17 times more soybean protein than meat protein? For great vegetarian recipes, write People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. That's PETA, Norfolk, Virginia, 23510. Thanks.
BG men's basketball heads on the road for the first time this season after their best start over a decade, battling Davidson on Saturday, November 15th at 6 p.m. Falcon Media Sports Network's Tyler Kavlitz and Artie Abrego will record a broadcast from North Carolina, which will be available at bgfalconmedia.com.
Welcome back to Falcon Media Sports Network coverage. Just a few minutes away now from puck drop over at the Slater Family Ice Arena as the Falcons get ready to take on the Ferris State Bulldogs tonight. And Andrew, your final thoughts going into tonight's matchup.
I really think the only thing that I haven't mentioned is keeping penalties under control. Last night they had 8 penalties for 16 minutes spent in the penalty box. I think just keeping your guys clean, keeping them from committing those fouls that'll take your best players out of the game. I think you're just going to want to you're going to want to limit those.
Yeah, definitely. And should say it's going to be kind of funny going into tonight's matchup because, it was a nice day. You were not having to worry about ice outside here today in Bowling Green.
No.
It was a nice day here in Bowling Green.
Nope. Pushing something like 70 degrees, I think it was.
It was definitely in the 60s. It should cool down over the next few days. I think we
Yeah.
have a chance for snow, though, on Tuesday.
Wow.
So, I don't know. Like, the last time I was doing hockey, I was like, maybe we could go outside after this game and, just do some hockey on the sidewalk outside the Clean Center. But
yeah, just get can't get a rink out here, so I'll get some field hockey going, sure.
yeah. I mean, today's going to be pretty hard to get some ice out there, but Yeah, maybe Tuesday or something we should be possible. But yeah. So let's take one more quick break right now. Right now, an anthem over at the Slater Family Ice Arena, and we'll send things on out to Ben and Nathan there. You're listening to WBGU 88.1 FM.
On January 31st, 2025, BGSU senior forward Jackson Niedermeyer scored a game-winning goal in overtime on the road against Northern Michigan, notching BG 2 points and securing Niedermeyer's first multi-point game as a Falcon. Falcon Media Sports Network's Ben Korak had the call on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Larson with the shot, taken away by Bowling Green. This is Jackson Niedermeyer, takes it up the right wing, looking for a pass, now looking for a shot, he scores! Jackson Niedermeyer, the overtime winner with a buck left in overtime. And Bowling Green takes the much-needed extra point. What a wrist shot.
This has been a Falcon Media Sports Network featured call.
All right, welcome back to Falcon Media Sports Network pregame coverage as just a few minutes away now from puck drop over at the Slater Family Ice Arena. Coming up at 6:07 tonight. Should mention, though, BGSU Volleyball won today up in Buffalo in 3 sets. But BGSU Men's Basketball is also in action today, taking on Davidson down in North Carolina. Right now in the first half, 7:48 left. Davidson up 4-2 over Bowling Green. So again, still in the first half for that, and it just tipped off at 6 o'clock. So yeah, we'll keep you guys updated on that one as we were unable to do a broadcast from there tonight. But yeah, we'll keep you updated as our hockey matchup comes along here on WBGU. We'll keep you updated on what's going on down in North Carolina. Yeah, so anyways, got a... Let's go out right now to Ben and Nathan Burkett out at the Slater Family Ice Arena. Hey, guys, how's it going out there tonight?
It's going pretty good here, Nate. Thank you for doing our pregame today. And if it's anything like it was last night, it's going to be a very exciting game in the Slater Family Ice Arena. Last night, a 9-5 Bowling Green victory over Ferris State, their first win at home in regulation this season. The other 2 games that they've been able to play at home this season were against Bemidji and went to overtime. So, Nathan, it was nice to see a game end in 60 minutes yesterday.
Absolutely. I talked to Coach Willie after the game and just asked him, was it a little relief? And at times it looked like it might have gone to another overtime or another shootout, but it was definitely good for some of these fans to be able to head home early.
Fresh ice, fresh legs, and the Falcons and the Bulldogs get at it again today. Starting for Ferris State in net, the same goaltender as yesterday that gave up 8 goals. Bowling Green scored 9 with the empty netter at the end. It's Martin Lundberg, defenseman Nick Belpedio, and Jack Messick, and the first wing of forwards Gavin Best, Josh Zeri, and Max Itagaki. On the side of the Falcons, the first line scored 10 points yesterday, and they're not going to change at all. Dom Ryman, Noah Morneau, and Quinn Emerson on the starting first line for the Falcons. Dalton Norris and Braden Crampton back on defense, and Tyler Palmer getting the start in net today. His first time starting since the Bemidji State series started the Friday game against Bemidji State, a Halloween game that day of 4 goals allowed, 24 saves, took a tie and a shootout loss. Not a bad performance from him, who's only started 2 games this season, and this will be his 3rd. An early icing call against Ferris State, so the faceoff will be on the right side of your radio dial. Noah Morneau in for the second draw of the game, along with Josh Zeri, who scored 2 goals yesterday, both on the power play. Face-off, one back, slap shot Norris in toward Dom Ryman, who is battling net front, where Bowling Green scored a lot of their goals yesterday, especially early on. Ryman scored 2 in the first period. Puck behind Lundberg in the Ferris State net, and the Bowling Green O-zone. Puck still tied up behind the net. It's carried out by Ferris State. Intercepted by Braden Crampton, who dumps it back down. Dom Ryman in at the corner, puts a big hit on Tyler Schleppe, and a penalty is going to be called against Dom Ryman, who's going to be pushed a bit by the Ferris State Bulldogs, and only a couple of seconds into this first period, and we've already got a little bit of pushing and shoving going on behind the net.
Right in front of the bleacher creatures, once again showing out in full force tonight.
Dom Ryman's going to head off. Schleppe looked like his head got a bit low there, and we'll see what the call is. His back was also turned, so one of a couple of things that could be on this penalty. Yeah, pretty clear call there. Referees discussing. Falcons hoping it's only a 2-minute minor for that hit just a second ago. Gavin Best will skate over, the captain for Ferris State. 7 points on the season. And a minor for boarding is the call against Dom Ryman. So an early power play for Ferris State with only 19:24 left to play in the first period. Just under 40 seconds expired, and we've already got our first penalty, which was not a source of the game that was a positive yesterday for the Falcons.
No, Ferris State skates on the power play wearing their all red jerseys, red across the board for them with yellow and black striping, Bowling Green. And now we'll have a review, but Bowling Green tonight wearing their white home jerseys, white helmets, white jerseys, brown pants, white socks with orange and brown piping.
This review most likely coming to determine whether or not that hit by Ryman was a major penalty worthy, which would give Ferris State a 5-minute power play, and a goal would not bring Dom Ryman outside of the penalty box. So this is a big review here for Ferris State and against Bowling Green. Ferris State did score 5 goals yesterday, not a bad outing, but their goaltender, Martin Lundberg, gave up 8. That's the most he's given up in his career at Ferris State. He's only been here 2 seasons with the Bulldogs, 7 games played this season, just below a 3 goals allowed on average, but he was just above a 2 yesterday, so his average went up pretty far. And a lot of trust being placed in Lundberg in net for Ferris State, Nathan, especially since he started today. He's starting his 6th game in a row.
Absolutely. I mean, he came into this weekend leading the CCHA in save percentage. He was number 1 in the CCHA, tied for 7th best in the NCAA before last night.
So the call is still a minor penalty against Ryman. So we'll have a 2-minute power play for Ferris State, their first of the game. Penalties a big bane of Bowling Green yesterday. We went 2 for 4 on their power plays, but committed 8, had 16 total penalty minutes, and 3 for 7 were the Bulldogs on the power play yesterday. So penalty kill not functioning at a high level, although the power play was pretty solid. We'll get a draw here in the Bowling Green end of the ice between Jaden Grant and Gavin Best on the right circle. Some chirping going on between the Falcons, and now we're going to drop puck in the Bowling Green end of the ice. Crossover into the slot. Rappelj gets pushed away from the puck. Max Martin did not play yesterday, is playing today in the lineup. Only 1 assist on the season, and he ices the puck back down. Chris Lee will retrieve out to the right wing, and now up with speed comes Rappelj. Rappelj up the right wing, pushed off the boards by Niedermeyer. Niedermeyer ices the puck back down, skating as a defenseman for the Falcons, which is a new thing for Jackson Niedermeyer in the orange and brown. Playing with Gustav Stjernberg, the partner he's played with for the last 3 games. Out to Josh Zary. Josh Zary in the middle of the ice, works it out to the right wing. The Bulldogs on a power play, up to Chris Lee. His shot in, dropped down on the slot. Josh Zary battling with Breck McKinley there for position, and he's carried away from the puck. Emerson comes up with it now and throws it into the corner of Ferris State's end of the ice. A minute expired here on Ferris State's power play.
They'll go for a change.
Xavier Jean-Louis back out on the ice. One of the highest scoring players for Ferris State coming into the weekend. Here's Dukovic. Oh, a nice shot in, knocked down by Schleppe. It's back out to the blue line. Schleppe directed that more away from the net than he did toward it. It's flipped up high in the air and down in the Ferris State end, so we'll get another change. Morneau and Emerson out. Simonovic and McKinley as well on the defensive side. Jean-Louis into the left wing, puck behind the goal. McKinley plays it to Simonovic, can't get it outside the blue line. Back down to the right wing. Ferris State still with the puck. Flipped out of the Bowling Green end again. Under 30 left to play in the power play for Ferris State, and they've yet to really get a good chance on goal. Taking it around the left side. Ferris State coming up with a bit of speed. 5 men against Bowling Green's 4 for the next 12 seconds. Tyler Palmer plays the puck from behind the goal. It's back around to the blue line. Jean-Louis steps in, fires it down to the goal line and to Dukovic, and it's knocked down to the other end of the ice. Coming out of the box is Dom Ryman, and no harm done for the Falcons, who commit an early penalty on a boarding call to number 77. But Ryman back onto the bench, and Bowling Green back up to full strength. Brett Foe looking for a poke check there, pokes the puck free. Braden Crampton collects out to Brody Waters. Brody Waters scored his first goal of the season yesterday toward the end of the game. But nice for him to get the monkey off of his back. Bowling Green's leading scorer, one of the leading scorers in the CCHA last season, especially on the power play. Down to the goal line, worked in toward Lundberg, crossed off the cage, and it's back into the left wing corner. Brett Foe battling for the puck in behind with a couple of defensemen, Trevor Talene being one of them. 2 penalties yesterday for Talene, who did not have a great day, and none of the defensemen did for either team. 14 goals scored between these two sides. Ferris State into the offensive zone. Emerson good. With the puck now back into the Ferris State end of the ice and played by their defenseman. Taking up the right wing is Logan Haru. Skated extra yesterday, but is in a full defensive pairing today. Playing with Chris Lee. Lee is staple on the power play.
Ben Duran has a missing skate blade as he tries to push himself back to the bench, pulling one blade.
Bowling Green into the offensive zone. Tanner Scott battles for the puck. Haru gets it away. Up to the left wing, Gavin Best diags it into center ice. Tanner Scott takes it up the left wing now, fires it in. Scott, more little than a lot of the players from Ferris State that's got some size. Tanner Scott only 5'8".
Playing in only his second collegiate hockey game.
Only other game played was at Niagara in Niagara Falls, New York. Big check into the Ferris State bench by Brandon Wynot. He skates off into his own bench. Falcons pass up to center. Quinn Emerson through the middle. He gets mugged by a couple of Bulldogs. Out to center ice for Niedermeyer. 15:30 left to play here in the first period. Here's a breakaway for the Falcons. Quinn Emerson with a shot, and Martin Lundberg able to shut it off in the offensive zone. A good early opportunity for the Falcons. They had a 2-man rush and just couldn't get the spacing right to get a nice pass off.
Shot by Emerson, taken care of by Lundberg. Has to feel good if you're Lundberg. Make a quick early save. Build that confidence a little after a rough outing the last night.
14 saves, 8 goals allowed for Martin Lundberg, who we thought at a certain point was going to be pulled out of the game. Just didn't have it, and yet never was until Ferris State pulled the goalie within the last 3 minutes. Lundberg stops the puck behind his net. It's in the Bowling Green offensive zone. Ferris State skates it out, center ice. Jean-Louis up first, the defenseman for Ferris State. Dumps it down behind the goal and around Tyler Palmer, who's yet to record a save in this game. Bowling Green's done a good job of puck possession against the Bulldogs this weekend. Caden Brown loses the puck. Max Martin lead pass up to Tyler Hodson on the right wing. Hodson did have a goal yesterday as the only point that he scored, tied for the team lead in points with Noah Morneau, who had a hat trick yesterday. First one since Brody Waters in this building last year against Ferris State. Into the offensive corner for Ferris State, wrapped around. Oh, a big check there. Taken completely out of the play was Connor McGrath. The whistle's going to blow.
Helmet comes off for McGrath.
The helmet comes off, so they'll have to stop play. And a huge check there.
From Braden Crampton. Not only a huge check, a huge smile on Crampton's face after that.
Didn't look like too many words are being talked back and forth. It was clean hit. Just a very hard one. You see Crampton there, had a beat on him the whole time. McGrath was kind of falling over when the hit was landed. Luckily in a safe enough position, feet first into the boards. So face off in neutral ice, 14:30 left to play in the first. No score between these two teams. Bowling Green had a 2-0 lead going into the first intermission last night against Ferris State. Both goals scored by Dom Ryman, and we thought the rookie was at a pretty good spot to get a hat trick the way scoring had gone, and yet it was Noah Morneau who scored 3 through the second and the third period. Jake Sloan also scored a goal yesterday. We'll say that a lot today because the Falcons did score 9 goals.
Sloan last night getting his first career collegiate goal and also had an assist.
Very nice game played by the fourth line center last night. Worked his way up in the line chart tonight. That's got some changes for the Falcons. Ferris State, and to the left side. Dukovic ranges into the offensive zone. Simonovic takes a bump and gets the puck away to Niedermeyer. Niedermeyer up to Brandon Wynot. Wynot and Tanner Scott, both freshmen, ranging in, and they won't get to the puck in time. It's going to be an icing against the Falcons. So back in the Bowling Green end of the ice, they have one shot on goal to Ferris State's nothing. And the offense is understandably maybe taking a step back for these two sides. Law of averages says you're not going to score 14 2 nights in a row. Niedermeyer, lead pass up to Why Not. Why Not tips it. Forward to Tanner Scott, a well-skating forward. He plays a bit bigger than he is, we mentioned before, at 5'8". Sternberg with a shot in, gloved by Lundberg away from the left post. A nice save by the sophomore for the second save of the game.
Mentioning Tanner Scott, this is a guy during his time last year playing for the Saskatoon Blades of the WHL, also spent parts of his WHL career for another team that it's blanking me right now where he played for. But he was a fast player, and he's showing it so far here tonight.
Face-off won by Bowling Green back into their end of the ice, but Ferris State carrying in. Oh, Sternberg with a crushing hit there. Itagaki just gets wasted by Gustav Sternberg. Puck out to center ice. Bowling Green skates away. That's 6'4" on Itagaki, who's no taller than 5'7". Morneau goes for a check there. A very physical series so far for the Falcons and the Bulldogs. There's a chance off the right pad of Lundberg back down into the Bowling Green end for an icing. Just a thundering check from Sternberg into the Bowling Green corner.
Quick mention, Victoria Royals, the other team for the WHL that Tanner Scott spent a majority of his WHL career for. Couple of big hits, especially in that one corner there, Ben, between Crampton and Sternberg.
Making sure that Bulldogs are a bit wary to get against the boards through the rest of this game. You lay the physicality early and let the Bulldogs shy away. There's a face-off in the offensive zone now for the Falcons. Jaden Grant and the Dottie scored 2 goals in the first game against Lake State and has not scored a point since. Didn't even score yesterday. Here's Dalton Norris. Slap shot is carried away by a defenseman. That was Logan Haru that got in the way of that puck. It's into the right wing corner. The Falcons with possession in the O-zone. Tyler Hodson down to Jaden Grant. Grant skates around the left side, wraps it over toward Lundberg. A stick is in front. Bulldog is leveled as Lundberg covered up the puck. Didn't hear a whistle, but there obviously was one as play stopped.
That was Grant, I believe, who leveled Haru.
Yeah, Haru is still down on the ice. Lost his stick there for a second.
See a replay.
Here's Grant. He wrapped it around into Lundberg, and then he gives a kind of high cross-check kind of thing to Haru, who's a bit worse for wear.
I'll be honest,
pretty
Ben,
tight end toward the face. That probably could have been a penalty.
It looked to me like that probably should have been a penalty, but to me it looked like Grant was mad at someone else and just attacked Haru, getting the wrong guy, because there was another Bulldog who was poking at Grant throughout that play. Haru just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Not too much fun being had between these two sides so far. It's been pretty out for blood, especially for the Falcons, who took a win yesterday. Jacob Badal in the zone. Palmer plays the puck. Badal crosses it across the slot, and nobody from the Bulldogs there. Here's a shot in by Talene. It's back behind the goal for Emerson Good. Good flips it over toward the cage. It's off of the back of the cage and in behind the goal line in the Bowling Green end of the ice. Ferris State looking to put together some offense in their first shot on goal of the game. Badal loses the puck. It's back behind, and collecting is Jack Blake. Blake wears the check. The play is whistled dead as Blake takes an expiring hit there, and the face-off is going to come back into the Bowling Green end.
Puck went up and out play, and
Jack Blake scored or played quite a bit early in the season, especially with Gustav Sternberg being out a bit and Jackson Niedermeyer not playing defense yet for the Falcons. He played in Sternberg's stead, and both games played in Niagara and Lake State. This is his first game played in the last 3 weeks. Pass up to center ice. Tyler Hodson, he had a screen in front, but Sloan is going to be called for an offsides, and the puck is going to come back out to center. 11:30 left to play in the first. No score between the Bulldogs and the Falcons so far. Should go over our pick the stick today For Falcon Media Sports Network members, choose a player before the game starts. 2 points for a goal, 1 point for an assist, and a goalie gets you 3 points. You lose them as he gives up goals. Make sure to play along at home. Choose a player and see how they score today. Puck goes way out of play, so we'll have a quick break to talk about this. Lucas Kleinmeyer chose Noah Morneau, who scored a hat trick yesterday. The rookie, the first hat trick for the Falcons since Ferris State in this building last season. Tyler Kavlitz chose Tyler Hodson. Hodson had a goal yesterday. Nathan Burke, you want to defend?
Yeah, I went with
today?
Dominic Ryman, led the team yesterday in points, 2 goals, 2 assists. First person this year to score 4 points in a game for the Falcons.
Played on a first line with Noah Morneau, who's Lucas Kleinmeyer's pick, and my pick, who is Quinn Emerson. Emerson had 3 assists yesterday, all on goals scored by Ryman and Morneau. Edegaki with the puck on the left wing. Tried to cross it, and to Dukovic. It's back out in front of the Bowling Green bench. Waters skates it away. Edegaki center ice, and it's tipped back in the offensive zone. Simonovic with a couple of Bulldogs threatening, gets it out to center ice and gets it safely away from Tyler Palmer, has yet to make a save today. He's trying to show what he can do, as there was a couple of good games in a row played by Jacob Steinman in Mankato. This Minnesota State, 2 ties, 2 shootouts for Bowling Green against the number 16 team in the nation at the time. And Palmer and Cole Moore are going to have to do some work to get themselves in the net now. And a good opportunity today for Palmer following a 5-goal allowed performance yesterday by Steinman. 10:30 left to play in the first period. Media timeout coming up. Brandon Wynot into the right wing. Back around, Talene with the puck. Can't get it outside the blue line. Sternberg tips it in toward the slot, and it bounces away from the net. It's back into the left wing. Josh Zeri will play, the transfer from Long Island, following first-year head coach for the Bulldogs, Brett Riley.
Also for any Calgary Flames fans in the audience, cousin of Connor Zeri of the Calgary Flames.
Media timeout here in the first period. Just under 10 minutes left to play here in the first. No score between these two sides. And this timeout sponsored by Juniper Brewing Company, located at 145 South Main Street in downtown Bowling Green, featuring coffee and craft beer and serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. See the latest menu at juniperbrew.com. No score here in the Slater Family Ice Arena. You're listening to Falcon Hockey on WBGU 88.1 FM.
The Bowling Green women's soccer team wrapped up its 2025 season in the Mid-American Conference Championship Final, falling to Western Michigan at historic Crew Stadium. Under second-year head coach Chris Fox, the Falcons built their identity around grit, defense, and a possession-based style that led to a program record 13-match unbeaten streak. After clinching a tournament spot with a 3-1 win over UMass, BG beat Buffalo and Miami in back-to-back thrillers to reach the title match, including a 106-minute game winner from junior forward Isabella Mazzaferro. Statistically, the Falcons were one of the best defensive teams in the nation, allowing just 0.59 goals per game, the lowest in program history, and top 10 in Division I. With 27 of 29 players returning next fall, the Falcons are already eyeing another run in the 2026 season. This has been 60 Seconds in Falcon Athletics.
Check out the Zig Zone Sundays from 4 to 6 p.m. here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Back here in the Slater Family Ice Arena around the CCHA, Minnesota State at Lake State, Bemidji State at Michigan Tech, and at 7 p.m. we're going to see St. Thomas at Augustana. The only goal scored in the CCHA so far, Bemidji State with a 1-0 lead over Michigan Tech in Houghton, Michigan, the home of McInnes Ice Arena and Michigan Tech hockey. That's the only team in the CCHA ahead of Bowling Green in standings right now. I believe they have 16 total points. They do, on a 5-0-2 record, still undefeated. Bowling Green 3-1-3 with 14 total points. Face-off one back to Dalton Norris, down the left wing to Dom Ryman. Ryman in the corner, pressed up by Xavier Jean-Louis, who takes Ryman out of the play. Back out to the blue line, held in by Norris, who fired it toward the rack. It's caromed over toward Lundberg, and he shrugs the puck away. Morneau in behind the goal line. You're seeing a lot of Ferris State defensemen behind the goal. Back out to Emerson. Emerson to the right wing. Shot in to score. What a play for Bowling Green. Cycling the puck around the net. And it's Noah Morneau yet again.
Ryman was behind the goal line, pass to Emerson in the slot, finds Morneau all alone to the left side of Lundberg.
Absolutely fantastic puck movement from this Bowling Green team between
Tic-tac,
Emerson
goal.
and Ryman and Morneau. Puck back down to the Bowling Green end after the face-off draw. McKinley gets the defensive recovery. Here's Jaden Grant to take it outside of the zone. He flips it, tries to flip it off of the glass, and he flips it out of play. We're going to get a face-off in the Bowling Green end of the ice where Grant was standing. First goal scored at the 10:25 mark, just coming out of our Juniper Brewing Company timeout, assisted by Emerson and Dom Ryman. The first line scores again. That's 13 points this weekend for that first line on 6 goals and 7 assists. Bowling Green, a defensive zone turnover held inside the blue line by Belpedio. Nick Belpedio is knocked down to the ice. Here's Max Martin on the breakaway. Down the right wing, he's got Hodson on the left. Pass over to Hodson in front, and he couldn't get a shot off on Lundberg. A good chance there for Bowling Green, who really just couldn't settle the puck down enough to get a clean shot on goal. Here's Badal to flip it in. Bowling Green will chase it down 1-0. The Falcons lead off of the Noah Morneau goal, his 4th of the weekend.
Continues to lead this team in goals. That's now up to 7 goals in the season for the freshman from Windsor.
Out to center ice, played across to Caden Brown. Caden Brown couldn't get a shot off as he lost control of the puck toward the left wing boards. Got the puck back down off of the pass, down to the goal line. Crossed in front, and Brody Waters there for the defensive recovery. Off the glass, out to center. Brett Foe skating in to the offensive zone, and the puck is collected by Logan Haru. His pass from the blue paint out to Lundy. Lundy is offsides. Rappeljay was just a bit too eager to get into the offensive zone. John Lundy didn't play yesterday. Transfer from AIC, American International College, which is knocked down to a Division III program starting this season. 76 games played in college hockey with a 45 total points. Not a bad scorer is John Lundy.
Ferris State wins the faceoff in the neutral zone.
That's down to Jackson Niedermeyer to recover in the Bowling Green end. Gustav Stjernberg scored an empty net goal yesterday. Ben Duran chases it down behind the goal. Tallinn takes him out of the play. A nice play by the defenseman to eliminate a scoring chance, and now Ferris State comes the other way. Down the left wing comes Schleppe, and another offsides whistled against the Bulldogs. Schleppe getting into it a bit there with Stjernberg, who had some words yesterday with Schleppe.
I think Ferris State's problem right now, as Schleppe complaining to the ref, it seems like about something Stjernberg did, but the problem Ferris State's having, it looks like to me, when I'm trying to enter the zone, the puck carrier is trying to make one too many moves. They're trying to get a little too fancy entering the zone, and they're holding the puck up while one of their attackers, who's looking for potentially like a backdoor opportunity, just can't wait that long. They're trying to get a little too fancy is the point, right as they're entering. Wait till you get into the offensive zone to make that move.
Passing is quicker, more efficient. That's a more tried and true way of scoring and going one-on-one, as you see some great players be able to do. Although the greatest players in hockey history have been the ones that are great passers, not the ones that are necessarily the greatest goal scorers. 7:40 left to play in the first period. 1-0 Bowling Green leads off of the Noah Morneau goal, his 4th of the weekend, assisted by Emerson and Ryman. Emerson now 8 assists for the team lead. Ryman 6 assists. And Morneau, a team leader in points. Here's Bowling Green in. It's flipped in toward the net. The Bowling Green fans thought they had a goal. It's tied up and forced in. Jaden Grant skates away with the goal. His first in quite a while, and the Falcons lead 2-0.
It seemed like Lundberg made a save on the original opportunity. Yeah, Emerson had a shot there, just couldn't quite put it away. Lundberg makes the save, and then eventually Jaden Grant, during a net front scrum, able to tap it in.
All 5 Falcons within about 5 feet of the blue paint. Jack Blake in there as well. Don't think he got a touch on it.
Plays under review.
Grant
could be goaltender interference against Emerson.
Could possibly be. He was standing in the blue paint, but it's whether or not Emerson did make contact. Hopefully we see the replay here right now. It's 2 goals on the board for the Falcons.
Also, another question that could be asked is Lundberg had slid out to the right side of the net. He was no longer covering basically anything of the net. If he's no longer in the blue paint, and if he bumps into you, as long as it's not egregious, you might get away with it.
He did have the puck covered up there for a second, and if the referee determines that there was contact but it did not hinder Lundberg's ability to make the save, then they don't have to wave it off. It does also help that the call on the ice was a good goal, and this is going to be a quick review for the referees today. Derek Berkebile, Stephen McKinchick, Nick Huff, and Patrick Giles, same as yesterday. Second shot is a good goal.
So they did confirm Emerson's original shot did not go in, saved by Lundberg. Jaden Grant will get credit with the goal.
So it was simply whether or not, it was simply just to decide who actually had the goal. Emerson, if there's an assist, most assuredly will get one, as he was in on the blue paint on the other side of the net there where Grant stood. Pass up to center ice. Bowling Green with a 2-0 lead now. Morneau and Grant, the goal scorers. Grant's first since his 2 goals in the Lake State Series, the first game of the Lake State Series. That's 3 series ago now, once this game is over. Pass over into the slot. Shot, a score! Oh my gosh, what a goal! A quick one for the Falcons. A 3-0 lead here in the first.
It's Jaden Grant again. For fans of hockey back in the 80s, of Dennis Savard of the Chicago Blackhawks, a Savardian spinorama goal on the backhand for Jaden Grant. And for fans of the 2010s, hits for his celebration. For his celebration, goes with the famous Evgeny Kuznetsov eagle flying celebration.
Flipped into the Bowling Green offensive zone. The Falcons have not relieved their scoring prowess so far. 9 goals yesterday, now 3 today, and they lead by 3 goals against Ferris State, and they have just done nothing else but solve Martin Lundberg this weekend. Crossover into the slot, another chance taken away by the forwards of Ferris State. Holden Dole can't hold on to the puck. Bowling Green takes it immediately back into the offensive zone. Over into the slot. Quinn Emerson with a shot, and it's shrugged away by Lundberg. Crossed over into the slot again. Chipped up in the air, nabbed out of the air by Lundberg, but he can't squeeze the puck. It bounces away. Ferris State out to center ice. They still have not recorded a shot on goal. Have only recorded 5 total shots. None of them have been high quality. A crossing pass there. Schleppy's taken out of the play. Tanner Scott up the right wing. Flipped into the offensive zone again. Scott will be the first one there on the right wing. A couple of Falcons get a change as Scott wasted some time with the puck there. Still in the offensive zone. Dalton Norris open at the high slot. Puck pinned up against the right wing boards. Caden Brown gets the puck away. Jaden Grant's goal a second ago, assisted by Max Martin and Tyler Hodson. Hodson up to a 2-game point streak. His 7-game point streak was broken in the second Minnesota State game. So he's had a large chain of points scored. This one on Grant's second goal of the game, his second 2-goal game of the season now. Quinn Emerson with the puck, back for Dom Ryman, left wing, his shot just high of Lundberg, who might have got a piece of the puck. Here's Jack Blake, who fires it in. He has his first assist and first point of the season. Skating extra today for the Falcons. This shot whistled wide. Blake took a couple of too many steps in and couldn't hold the puck inside the blue line. Falcons will have to touch puck back in their own zone. It's Ryman up center ice to Morneau. Morneau is hit as he gets the puck away, but puck close enough to avoid an interference call. Dukovic with the puck, center ice, ranging up the right wing. Sternberg back behind the goal line, knocks over the Ferris State player. That was Dukovic, and the penalty now going to be called on Sternberg from center ice as Sternberg completed that hit behind the goal line.
Now, some pushing and shoving on the one face-off dot. Nothing too seriously. As I famously say, probably just comparing family cookie recipes. Getting a replay here. We'll wait and see what the call is. I don't necessarily know if I agree with it. Seemed to be mostly clean. Sternberg definitely does not agree with it.
Sternberg unhappy that that was as clean as you can get on a check. And the penalty was called from center ice, literally at the red line.
I could understand potentially an interference call as the skater had not quite reached the puck. But other than that, I don't know what you could have called there.
I do believe he did have last touch on the puck. Sternberg still not happy. That's 2 games in a row with a penalty. And yesterday the penalty that he took was
an open ice check.
An open ice hit against Max Edegecki, who had just got the puck away and quite arguably didn't even deserve a penalty on that play either.
Personally, don't believe he deserved one either there. Sometimes officials elbowing.
He did get the elbow a bit high on the play, but calling that play from center ice is...
Sometimes officials call based on the size of the hit and not the efficiency of the hit.
Well, even the size of the hit wasn't too great. The elbow was a bit high for Sternberg, but just an odd call there. A power play for Ferris State. This is their second one. Bowling Green has yet to have a power play. Fed over into the slot, tried to be cleared out by Jackson Niedermeyer defensively. Here's a shot in, off of the mask of Tyler Palmer. That's using your head. Back down to the right wing. Niedermeyer flips it outside of the zone and ice down for the Falcons, who will get a change. 4:15 left to play in the first, 1:30 left to play, and Ferris State's second power play of the game.
Got to watch out for Josh Zary if you're BG. Constantly been cherry picking on the blue line on these power play opportunities for
Gavin
Ferris State.
Best out to the blue line. First shot on goal of the game for Ferris State just a second ago, the one that was off the mask of Tyler Palmer. Quinn Emerson skates the puck out almost into the offensive zone. He dumps it in for Lundberg to play, and a Max Martin forecheck here for the Falcons. Emerson off, Grant on. McKinley, Niedermeyer, Martin, and Grant, the penalty killers for the Falcons as Ferris State looks to get set. Xavier Jean-Louis through center, pass out to the right wing. Now skating through the middle of the ice in the offensive zone. Schleppe back out to Messick, dumped back down. Dukovic with the puck, backhands it over, quick shot. Here's a rebound chance for Messick, and he couldn't settle down the puck. Tried to corral it with the skate just at the high slot, but it was cleared out before he could. 30 seconds left to play, and Ferris State's man advantage. Sternberg will come out of the box, so 3 defensemen on the ice for a second for the Falcons. To the left wing, Dukovic poked away by Braden Crampton. 50-50 puck now in the left wing corner. Schleppe behind the goal. Xavier Jean-Louis not on the blue line. He's back behind the goal battling for the puck with Dukovic and Caden Brown. 3-goal lead for the Falcons, 5 seconds. Here pass out, high slot, shot in, blocked by Morneau. Full sail, another save by Tyler Palmer. Morneau limping a bit. He had a block, dropped there down in front, and Palmer able to shut off the goal. There was a chance for Xavier Jean-Louis in tight. The defensemen all over the place on that power play, and a penalty kill successfully for the Falcons. Ferris State still with the puck in the offensive zone. Sternberg takes Dukovic out of the play. 3 defensemen on the ice now for the Falcons. Can't clear the puck away, though. Getting to be a long shift. Cross back out to the blue line, held in by Jean-Louis. To the right wing. Dukovic feigned on a slap shot, back down to Jack Messick, who's pinned up behind the goal line. So many defensemen for Ferris State behind the goal line in the Bowling Green zone. Dole across to Messick. Messick, his pass, a nice one, but it won't land to Lundy on the left wing. Knocked down to the ice is Emerson. Slap shot over in front, cleared away by the Falcons, up in the air toward the blue line. It will be held inside the blue line by Ferris State. Xavier Jean-Louis on the left wing. Puck still is not outside the zone. The Falcons still skating tired. Crossover into the slot, poked outside finally by Bowling Green, who will get a 3 defenseman, 2 forward change and get some fresh legs back out on the ice.
Only 1:30 remain here in the first period of play.
An impressive penalty kill there for the Falcons, and their defense able to hold off a big drive there for Ferris State. 3 shots on goal in the last 2 minutes. Foa shot in is squeezed by Lundberg in his chest, it looked like. 1:15 left to play in the first period. A 3-0 Bowling Green lead. Morneau and Grant twice have been the 3 goals scored for the Falcons. 5 goals scored in the first period for the Falcons this weekend to 0 so far for the Bulldogs.
Quick update for men's basketball. BG currently trails 34-36 from Davidson, North Carolina at the first half.
to the right wing, flipped up and out to neutral ice. Jackson Niedermeyer back into the recovery zone for Bowling Green. Here's McKinley. McKinley spins around, gets free from Itagaki, and offsides is called against Jake Sloan, it looked like, playing with Waters and Foe today. We'll get a face-off center ice. Just under a minute left to play in the first.
A strong performance early here for the Falcons. Gotta wonder, something Coach Woolley talks about all the time, will they be able to carry this into the second period?
All 3 goals scored after the media timeout. 10:25, the time of Noah Morneau's first goal, and then Jaden Grant scored at 12:37 and 12:57, only 20 seconds apart were Grant's 2 goals. Second 2-goal game of the season. Here comes up the left wing, Carter Rappeljay working into Palmer. Palmer lost sight of the puck. Blake is able to carry it away and behind the goal, so Palmer is able to get back set. A nice save there by the sophomore goaltender. Trying to work his way back into the goalie rotation. Knocked down to the ice, Stjernberg with the check there. Schleppe didn't draw the call. He actually just looked around to the referees to see if there was a hand in the air. Bad luck with penalties this weekend as Stjernberg. Here's Badal back up to the blue line. Talene shot in off of the stick of Wynot on a full cell for a blocking attempt, and it's up into the netting behind the goal. 10 seconds left to play in the first period, and if you're the Falcons, you're pretty happy to skate a 3-goal lead in an intermission.
Absolutely. The question will be, can you carry this into the second period? That's one thing Bowling Green has struggled with so far this season is they'll have a good first period, have a good third period. They struggle in the second period.
We'll be joined in our Rick Crow first intermission report, surprise, surprise, by Rick Crow, who's seen a heck of a first period of play here in this game and heck of 3 periods of play yesterday. We'll talk to him, our Falcon Media Sports Network hockey broadcast sponsor. Here's a shot in, back around, trying to cross it into this slot, but taken away by Dom Ryman. Up the right wing, and the buzzer will sound as the Falcons go into our Rick Crow first intermission report with a 3-0 lead. You're listening to Falcon Hockey on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Don't have time to tune into a BGSU sports broadcast? Falcon Media Sports Network will have you covered with live updates of home BGSU athletic events. To follow along, head over to @BG_FMSN on Twitter X.
If you're a veteran looking to file for your service-connected benefits through the Department of Veterans Affairs, don't go it alone. AMVET's highly trained service officers stand ready to walk you through the process at VA regional offices around the country, helping you to navigate the complex VA system free of charge. With new presumptions for Agent Orange exposure and other conditions, AMVETS can offer you the advice you need to finally receive all of your earned benefits. In 2009 alone, AMVETS helped process more than 65,000 claims and appeals, securing more than $410 million in benefits. To find your nearest AMVET service officer or to learn more, visit amvets.org.
Falcon men's basketball returns home to face William & Mary on Wednesday, November 19th. Join Falcon Media Sports Network's Noah Seeley and Dawson Pelter on the call at 7 p.m. before tip-off. Dan Ryanauer, Andrew Helkowski, and Sam Bork will have a pregame, halftime, and postgame show, all beginning at 6:35 p.m. on Falcon Radio.
Falcon Media Sports Network and BG Falcon Media takes pictures for nearly all BGSU and Bowling Green related events throughout the year. Head over to bgfalconmedia.com, check out thousands of photos and all the content.
Welcome to the Falcon Media Sports Network halftime show. Nate Henner's joined here by Andrew Helkowski in the WBGU 88.1 studio at the Killeen Center. And Andrew, get first period officially done. By the way, we are in your first intermission report, and it is sponsored to us by Rick Crow, a longtime BGSU hockey fan and listener of Falcon Hockey on WBGU 88.1 FM. So, Andrew, quick recap of that first period.
Yeah, I mean, Bowling Green's got the 3-0 lead off another goal by Noah Morneau, putting him at 4 goals in 2 days. And then the other 2 goals scored by Bowling Green were by Jaden Grant, who scored his first goal since a game at Lake Superior State on October 24th. So nice to see him kind of come back and, put some points on the board for the Falcons after a bit of a drought in his performance this season. Bowling Green 4 saves. Ferris State actually had 9 saves. Ferris State also had 2 power play attempts. The 2 teams were even in face-offs with 11 going each direction. Bowling Green with 17 shots. Ferris State with 13. Bowling Green with 12 shots on goal. Ferris State with only 4 shots on goal. The Bowling Green defense has been playing much better today, especially, in comparison to last night where they gave up 5 goals. They've been playing a much more tight game, holding Ferris State really just not successful offensive performance.
Yeah, definitely. All right, right now, back at the Slater Family Ice Arena with Ben Korak, we have the name behind the Rick Crow First Intermission Report. Rick Crow's out there with Ben. All right, hey guys, how's it going out there?
It's going pretty good, Nate. We got a 3-goal lead here heading into the first intermission report, and we are joined right now by Rick Crow, our sponsor of the first and second intermission report. Rick, what did you think about that first period and of this weekend so far?
Well, I'm a little hoarse from screaming, so yeah, it's been probably the most entertaining 2 games I've seen in a while. And tonight we've tightened up the D. They've only got 3 shots on goal. We're doing well.
Yeah, yesterday, 9-5 victory for the Falcons, probably up there with one of the most highest scoring games that you've seen. I think the last time they scored 9 was 2019 against Alabama Huntsville here in the Slater Family Ice Arena when they were a non-conference opponent of the Falcons. Especially yesterday, it seemed like a lot of offense being generated around the blue paint, and pretty early here today as well. It's pretty nice to see from this Falcon team that Willie's been preaching that since his time here.
Oh, most definitely. He was not happy with last night's play.
He was not.
It was just way too lax on D, and it was all about scoring goals last night, which is not the type of hockey he preaches, or he coaches. So it seems like they've received the message. They're playing better D tonight, and we'll see. I thought Niedermeyer being moved to D was kind of interesting last night.
Yeah, he did that the last couple of games, played all in Mankato at D as well. He's pretty good pairing with Gustav Stjernberg, though, as well, especially how solid of a defenseman Stjernberg is. We should talk a little bit about Noah Morneau, a rookie hat trick last night, and the first goal today that stands as the game winner if you take away the next 2 periods of action and barring a score for Ferris State. I mean, it seems like a true scorer to me, and the first one Bowling Green's had in quite a while.
Yeah, well, Water, you could say the same thing about Waters last year, and it's too bad that it's taken so long for him to get his first goal. But Morneau's the real deal. I mean, there's no doubt about it. He and that first line is just incredible.
Yeah, Emerson with 2 assists today. Dom Ryman had an assist on the first goal by Noah Morneau, and Morneau's got that goal. Jaden Grant as well, two 2-goal games this season, one at Lake State and one today as well. And again, the epitome of 1 to 200-foot player that you're seeing a lot from the Falcons this year, and also net front presence. That's been big.
We came this close to having 2 hat trick players last night. Ryman's 2 goals. It's like, just incredible.
He had that empty net try at the end of the game, missed by inches too. That would have been a nice one. 2 rookie hat tricks in the same game.
That was a nice shot by Goose at the end of the game.
It certainly was. The last goal yesterday gave Bowling Green the 9-5 victory. Rick, we're heading into the second period now, which is when scoring really exploded yesterday, if it hadn't in the first period as well. Just what do you want to see from the Falcons going into the second period to try and hold Ferris State off the board? Especially?
We need to continue with a much better defense than we had last night, because that's where we broke down last night. And you don't want to allow 5 goals. Yeah, we scored 9, but 5 goals is unacceptable. So we need to stay tight on D and basically keep the offense going. So we got some good skaters back on D, and I think they got the message last night. So.
Yeah, Steinman last night, Palmer tonight. You know, Steinman didn't have a lot of help, but also didn't play too great in goal yesterday. But especially the goalies on this team, pretty much 3 deep, although Colmore didn't play too well against Minnesota State. That's good to see as a Falcon fan, especially having 3 goalies that you can rotate and feel pretty confident in all 3.
True. I couldn't blame a lot of those goals last night on Steinman, though. He had no help in front of him.
Sure.
So, yeah, and Palmer's playing really well tonight. I always liked his puck handling ability. He's much, I don't know, more comfortable handling the puck.
Smoother with the puck,
yes,
for sure.
He is.
Which is nice to see for the Falcons that might have struggled with that a little bit last year with Colmore and Christian Stover. Rick, thank you for joining us for our first intermission report. We'll send it to Nate Henners and Andrew Helkowski back in the studio in a minute. Rick, anytime you want to jump up, it's your intermission, so you jump up here, man. It's great to talk to you all the time.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Send it back to Nate Henners right now. A little bit left in our first intermission. You're listening to Falcon Hockey on WBGU 88.1 FM.
On February 11th, 2025, BGSU senior forward Marcus Johnson nailed an improbable corner three-pointer at the buzzer to give Bowling Green a lead over the Ohio Bobcats going into halftime. Falcon Media Sports Network's Tyler Kavlitz had the call on Falcon Radio.
Thomas looking for someone to inbound it to. Gets it to Johnson. Corner 3, fading away to baseline. Marcus Johnson nails it. Bowling Green goes into half with the 2-point advantage, 34-32 on the miracle shot by Johnson.
This has been a Falcon Media Sports Network featured call.
And welcome back to WBGU 88.1 FM and Falcon Media Sports Network coverage of Bowling Green taking on Ferris State. Second night of this matchup. We are in our Rick Crow first intermission report. Taking a quick break from hockey now to see what else is going on in Falcon athletics. Earlier on today, the BGSU volleyball team defeated Buffalo up in Buffalo. That one finished in 3 sets with the Falcons getting the win for volleyball. Going on over to men's basketball. They're in action right now, and they're in halftime for that men's basketball matchup, taking on Davidson down in North Carolina. And at the half, Davidson is up over the Falcons, 45-38. Again, though, at the half for that. Taking a look at what else is going on around the CCHA in action right now. Of course, we have our the Bowling Green Falcons taking on Ferris State. They're up 3-0. And then we have Bemidji State up on Michigan Tech 1-0. That one also in their first intermission right now. And then we also have same place. These 3 games all kicked off at 6:07. We have Lake Superior State and Minnesota State tied 1-1 again at the end of the first period. One more game coming up at 7:07 our time, 6:07 Central Time, and that is the St. Thomas Tommies and the Augustina Vikings. Again, that's coming up at 6:07 Central Time or 7:07 our time. So we'll keep you guys updated on those matchups going on around the CCHA. Andrew, turning now to your player of the game watch. Who are some players you're focusing on from the first half?
Well, I think what I said pregame has actually been aging pretty well. I said that Noah Morneau, was going to have himself a really productive game, and so far he has. He has a goal, 3 shots on goals. He's won 4 faceoffs himself. But another player, I think, who we haven't, seen a whole lot of up until tonight is Jaden Grant. He's got 2 goals, his first points since that win over Lake Superior State back in October. He's also got the 3 shots on goals. He won 3 faceoffs himself. He's been playing very well. I think another player that we're kind of looking out for is Emerson. He has 2 assists. He has a shot. He's +2. He's been playing exceptionally well, especially in this first period. So I think we'll see a little more of the same from these 3 guys.
Yeah, definitely. And coming up, we will continue to preview the second and third periods as we are in our Rick Crow first intermission report. Keep it here. You're listening to WBGU FM in Bowling Green, Ohio.
Looking for a BG Athletics discussion show? Check out The Swoop, where a rotating cast of Falcon Media Sports Network co-hosts talk everything BGSU athletics. New episodes are available every Tuesday at 6 p.m. on the BG Falcon Media YouTube channel.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
What if you were wearing something sexy? What if you were drinking? What if you made the first move? No matter what, sexual assault is never your fault. Support is available 24/7 through the National Sexual Assault Hotline. Call 1-800-656-HOPE or visit RAINN.org. That's RAINN.org. This is Christina Ricci with RAINN, reminding you it's never your fault.
Brought to you by RAINN and this station.
On August 28, 2025, BGSU football running back Cameron Petaway returned at kickoff 97 yards for a touchdown on the first play of the season against Lafayette. The second straight year, the Falcons found pay dirt on the first play of the campaign. Falcon Media Sports Network Sean Connolly had the call of the moment on Falcon Radio.
Dumont kicks it away, and we are underway in the 2025 football season, and it will be returned. Looks like he's got an opening, and will we see it again? There he goes. He's at the 50. There he goes for the second straight year. He will be gone. 2 years in a row, Cameron Petaway. Touchdown Falcons. Unbelievable.
This has been a Falcon Media Sports Network featured call.
And welcome back to our Rick Crow First Intermission Report here on WBGU 88.1 FM from the Falcon Media Sports Network. The Falcons up 3-0 at the end of the first period. And Andrew, your final thoughts going into this second period?
Really, I think just keep doing what you're doing. Keep playing stout defense, keep getting shots, keep scoring goals, keep getting your stars involved in the game, Keep getting the puck to Jaden Grant. Keep getting it to Morneau. I'd also like to see them get Ryman a little more involved. He had a big night last night, but he's been pretty quiet so far in this match. So really just more of the same. I think if you're a head coach, Dennis Williams, I think you're pretty happy with how the first period went.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so we will be back with you guys for the second intermission report. We'll also keep you updated on that men's basketball game going on down in Davidson. Right now, let's hand things on back out to the Slater Family Ice Arena with Ben and Nathan as they get ready to call the second period. Hey, guys, how's it going out there?
Pretty good, Nate. Thank you again for doing the back half of our Rick Crow First Intermission Report. Thank you to Rick Crow for joining us, our sponsor of BG Hockey Travel this season. They're the reason we're going to be at every Bowling Green hockey game, at home, on the road, throughout the 2025-2026 campaign. Ben Korak here with Nathan Burkett from the Falcon Media Sports Network. For all BGSU sports news and updates, go to bgfalconmedia.com and BG_FMSN on Twitter X, and also go to BG Falcon Media on Instagram, Facebook, and our YouTube channel as well. Pretty good so far in the Pick the Stick. Noah Morneau has got Lucas Kleinmeyer his 2 points of the game. Tyler Kavlitz has not yet. He scored 1 point with Tyler Hodson's assist. Nathan's choice of Dom Ryman has scored him 1 point for an assist, and my choice of Quinn Emerson has scored me 2 points for 2 assists. So pretty tight all around. Make sure to choose a player and keep up to date on how they score throughout today's game. A big first period for the Falcons, a big 2 first periods this week, and Nathan, 5 goals scored unanswered for the Falcons in the opening 20 minutes.
Again, that's important, but the key is carrying it into the second period. That's what BG struggled with so far this season. We'll see this period if they're able to hold on to that lead.
Messick dumps it down into the Bowling Green end, which is on the right side of your radio dial now. Plays the puck down behind the goal line. Braden Crampton out to Quinn Emerson on the right wing. Off the half wall and out to center ice. Bowling Green trying to settle it down. Jean-Louis is decked by Noah Morneau. He does it all. It plays on the penalty kill, the power play. He scores. He hits. This kid is unbelievable for the Falcons, especially this weekend. Morneau, another check on Jean-Louis. Puck brought in a little bit tight with Tyler Palmer in the net for Bowling Green. Had made all 4 of his saves toward the last 3 minutes of that first period. Ferris State still with the puck in the offensive zone. Bowling Green can't get the puck back. Jack Messick ranges in. His pass is off of the skate of a Falcon and out into the Ferris State out of the ice. So Bowling Green and Ferris State will reset here. Emerson with a big check. Here's Tyler Hodson to circle it back out to the blue line. Bowling Green can't hold it in the blue line. It's high in the air and recovered by Jackson Niedermeyer. Niedermeyer lead pass up, Max Martin. Left wing, he's got some open ice. Crosses it over into the slot. It bounces toward Lundberg and carried out down behind the goal. Ferris State recovers the puck. Josh Zary on the right wing out to center ice. Niedermeyer back to Sternberg. Bowling Green into the offensive zone. Here down the right wing comes Waters. Sorry, Niedermeyer can't hold on to the puck there. Gavin Best up the left wing, the captain. With the puck, flipped up to center. 2 forward for the Falcons. It's Max Martin. His shot, score! What a goal! Max Martin from the left wing. Bowling Green keeps it into the second, and it's a 4-0 Falcon lead.
Max Martin's first goal of the season. Had 6 of them last season. Just rips a shot above the glove hand of Lundberg to give Bowling Green a 4-0 lead early in the second period.
That's what this coaching staff wants to see out of Max Martin, a player that played almost every game last season as just a rookie, and now in his sophomore campaign has started slow. And they're going to challenge maybe an offsides.
It's the linesman in the booth, not the referee, so I'm assuming it'd be for offsides.
So a goal scored by Max Martin tentatively, and we'll see what the call is here after the challenge. Not too much harm done if they erase this goal, although Max Martin, whether it stands or not, that's a big confidence booster to be able to beat the goaltender from range in the top right corner.
And currently on the Jumbotron here to Slater Family Ice Arena, we see a little bit of a video from one of Bowling Green's NHL alumni at the goaltending position, Andrew Hamburglar Hammond. Famous for his time with the Ottawa Senators and the Cinderella run they went on just over 10 years ago.
Max Martin carries it up the right wing. Oh, it does look like it's going to be offsides. Yep, no goal.
Confirmed.
Max Martin gets it taken away, but
fans here at the Slater Family Ice Arena not happy with
pretty
the call,
clear.
But it was a clear call.
So still 3-0, and Bowling Green still leads by quite a margin, so really no harm done there. Max Martin probably a little bit upset at that, but at least he knows that he can put it in the net. That would have been his first of the season had the play not been offsides. Lee up to the right wing. Brody Waters with the puck in the right wing corner. Flips it out wide of the goal. To recover is Haru. Logan Haru playing defense today. Simonovic takes it in toward the slot. Carried away by Holden Dole. Dole didn't play yesterday. He's down the right wing now. He's got a breakaway with John Lundy. Lundy fires it in toward Palmer, and he can't make the save. From the left wing, a 2-on-1 breakaway. John Lundy looks to have scored his first goal of the season. A goal wiped away for the Falcons, and immediately one scored by the Bulldogs.
Dole able to find a cross-crease pass under the stick of McKinley to Lundy for Lundy's first goal of the campaign. Face-off at center ice will be won by the Falcons. Back to Palmer, who will play it.
Braden Crampton back behind his goal, takes a hit into the boards. Buck tried to be peeled away by Rappeljay. Schleppy's in there as well. Two larger players to the right wing, Xavier Jean-Louis. Pretty good scorer, Xavier Jean-Louis. A goal and 5 assists coming into today's game, skating as a pretty large defenseman. Known more last year for his defensive and physical prowess. Puck skated away from danger by Braden Crampton, who takes a pretty sizable hit there. Jean-Louis gives a Forceful check as well. Puck pinned up in the offensive zone for Ferris State. Down behind the goal line, looking for a pass. From behind the goal is Jacob Badal. It's back up to the blue line. Jack Messick has to try and hold it in front of his own bench. Karam's back to Bowling Green after it cleared outside the blue line. Badal will go on the forecheck now. That goal scored by John Lundy and Holden Dole. Lundy, third line left winger, Dole, fourth line center, and neither one of them played yesterday against the Falcons. Down the right wing comes Badal, loses the puck. Sternberg collects. Deep pass up to Quinn Emerson. Emerson's got 2 assists today, one on a Morneau goal, one on a Jaden Grant goal, both in the first period. Tipped over toward Lundberg, and he shuts it off. Quinn Emerson on a forecheck there on a Ferris State player who had the clear puck possession. And of course, Lundberg to make the save, and he'll get a face-off to the right of Martin Lundberg.
Morneau out there, trying to make a pass to Emerson. We talk about this guy does a little bit of everything. He's on the penalty kill, he's on the power play, he wins face-offs, he scores goals. This is a guy, the last 2 seasons playing in Windsor of the OHL, won the Scott Miller Award for on and off-ice commitment to the Windsor Spitfires, and he is carrying over that commitment to his new team here in BGSU.
Held inside the blue line by Bowling Green, but then it's tipped back out to center. Played back in by Quinn Emerson. Emerson down the left wing, Morneau battling for that as well. That first line for the Falcons has just been so good the last couple of games. The only line that stays intact on the forward side today for the Falcons. Arguably, with 2 rookies, better than the line last year of Ben Duran in center, Ryan O'Hara, and Brody Waters or Quinn Emerson, depending on the day, which was the highest scoring line for the Falcons by far. 16 minutes left to play in the second, 3-1. Faceoff will come out to center ice.
Coach really loves to move around his forward lines, always looking to see if he can make them better. But I feel like he's found a solid line here that we might see more consistently.
Tyler Schleppe in for this face-off here. Schleppe, first goal scored in 6 games yesterday. Or first assist scored in 6 games yesterday. Still had a -1 rating, which surprisingly enough is one of the higher ratings out of yesterday by Ferris State squad. Puck is away. Bowling Green recovers back in their own zone. Cramped into Tyler Hodson, 2 newcomers to the Falcons this season. Through the left wing, deep pass up off the half wall to Hodson. Hodson flips it in. Here's Grant to chase. He chases Logan Haru. Haru plays it off the boards and back to his defensive partner, Chris Lee. Lee up the ice, turns it over on a tape-to-tape pass right to the Bowling Green player. Skating away from the play is Schleppe. Schleppe down the right wing. Fires it in toward Palmer. Palmer saves with 2 hands. Here's Jean-Louis. He rinks it back around to Jack Messick, fellow defenseman. His shot in way wide of the goal. Might have been deflected off of Jack Blake there, who's got some pretty solid minutes today for a player that's only played 2 games this season, one against Niagara, one against Lake State. With the puck in the corner, Blake has the puck stripped away. Back down into the corner. Caden Brown with the puck, looking for a red jersey. Can't find Emerson Good. Here comes the other way, and the Falcons don't go for an offense opportunity. Sloan just able to clear and get a couple of guys to change. Back behind Palmer. Palmer plays the puck. Backhand out to the left wing. Brett Foe takes his man down to the ice. Puck still 50-50. Now here's John Lundy. He's got the only goal scored today by Ferris State. He gets it out to Foe. Waters at the puck, who's blasted. Sloan gets the puck away. He's blasted, loses his stick, and he'll skate over toward the bench. Duran on the ice for Sloan. Nice try there by Brandon Wynot, screeching into the slot to try and connect with the puck. Here's Ben Duran, flings it toward the net, and it's blocked by what looked to be Jack Messick. A defenseman in tight, now back up at the blue line. Shot in, Sternberg, glove saved by Lundberg. 3-1, Bowling Green leads 13:57 left to play here in the second period.
Some good puck movement from the Falcons. Getting good scoring chances.
Still on pace for a lower scoring game than yesterday. 14 goals scored between these two sides. 9 for the Falcons, 5 for Ferris State. Here's Wynot, his shot. Takes the stick and the puck up into the netting. The stick by Belpedio was lost. Wynot, Scott, and Duran on the ice now. Ben Duran, who's been a little bit slow in scoring so far this season. He's got 4 assists, but no goals yet. He's played, especially the last couple of games, with a lot of rookies. And today playing with Brandon Wynot and Tanner Scott, who are by no means regulars in the lineup. So his lack of scoring production could be attributed to that and getting some new players acclimated. He is experienced and definitely a 200-foot player, especially last season for the Falcons.
He was a finalist for the CCHA Defensive Forward of the Year award.
Yeah, could likely be wearing a letter next year for Bowling Green. Sternberg and Grant wearing the A's for the Falcons. Dalton Norris, the captain for Bowling Green after being an alternate captain last year, the only junior alternate captain. 2 C's for the Falcons, 2 A's for the Falcons last season, and back down to a normal captainship. Here's Rappeljay down the right wing in the offensive zone for Ferris State, and he turns the puck over to Bowling Green. Gustav Sternberg up to center ice. Dominic Ryman with the puck, assisted on the first goal scored of the game by Noah Morneau. That's his only point today, but that's his 5th point of the weekend. Good move there by Tanner Rowe to get the puck away. Out to the blue line. Jack Messick carries it out to the right wing. Here it's dumped in by Brian Morse. Morse, the extra skating defenseman. Dom Ryman almost tripped down to the ice, but he stays on his feet. This the puck out to the left wing, just a bit behind Quinn Emerson. It's picked off by Ferris State, played by Palmer behind the Bowling Green goal. Sternberg, deep pass up to Ryman, gets a touch on it. So does Max Martin in front of the Bowling Green bench. Had a goal whistled off to offsides, but a very nice shot by Max Martin. That's the scoring we know we can see from Martin. Oh! Tyler Hodson's clobbered as he tried to make a shot on goal. Jack Messick laying down on the ice. Squandered that opportunity by Jaden Grant. Now up the right wing comes Dole. Working in tight. Got a nice pass off, but Jacob Badal in the back door couldn't fire it home. Couple of violent plays there in the offensive zone for Bowling Green. Neither one of them called a penalty. Hodson and Grant, the recipients. Grant out in the left wing corner. His task is to waste time, and he does so while the Falcons get a new set of guys on the ice, and now he hustles off for Jake Sloan. 11:30 left to play in the second period. 3-1, Bowling Green leads. Only goal scored in this period by Ferris State. We'll get an icing against the Bulldogs, and it'll come back into the Bowling Green O-zone.
Seen a lot of big, dangerous hits from Ferris State. Multiple Falcon players this period seemingly flying through the air.
Yeah, Hodson leveled on one play. Jaden Grant, after a dive by Jack Messick. I don't think Grant ever got to the puck, and he was taken out of the play by Messick, and no call against the Falcons. Jake Sloan in for the draw against Holden Dole.
A battle of the 16s.
Saskatchewan native is Holden Dole. 61 games played in his career. And only 15 points during that time. He's played 3 seasons with Ferris State. He scored his first collegiate point against Bowling Green on December 9th, 2023. So Bowling Green's challenging for a penalty against Ferris State, possible contact to the head. An early challenge for head coach Dennis Williams. 3-1 Bowling Green leads. An odd challenge here to call unless you know that you're going to get the call.
We don't usually see Coach Willie challenge play, especially after what happened, for those who remember, during the senior weekend last year, where he challenged to make sure that one of the Lake Superior players was on the score sheet, and it was ended up being a 10-minute challenge that threw off the entire momentum of the game. So since then, it feels like Coach Willie rarely challenges plays unless he's very confident in the outcome, just so he can make sure his team is consistently able to keep their tempo.
Also may have been initiated by one of the other coaches, Jacob Pritchard. And a couple of other, maybe the goalie coach as well, maybe contact to the head against Tyler Palmer in the net. So the referee's taking a look. It's Berkebile and McKinchick again here in the Slater Family Ice Arena. As we mentioned a couple times, regulars here as referees. The linesmen also regulars. Nick Huff wearing number 60 and Patrick Giles wearing number 58. They've called 2 penalties today, both on Bowling Green. Both in the first period. Dom Ryman definitely deserved a penalty on his hit against Nick Belpedio maybe, and probably about 10 minutes after Gustav Stjernberg was nabbed for elbowing behind the Bowling Green net. A defensive zone penalty that was questionable to say the least.
Having a thorough discussion of the referees, and now seemingly potentially calling over another official to take a peek at the video board in the Ferris State box.
He's just going to come in and talk to the referee and probably communicate something back to Ferris State or Bowling Green. As the flow of the game has kind of ground to a halt now. Granted, there wasn't too much in the second period. The goal scored by Ferris State in one swoop, and then it's been pretty 50-50 since then. That goal scored at the 2-minute mark by John Lundy, assisted by Holden Dole. Both players new to the lineup today for the Bulldogs. 11:30 left to play in the second period, and referees still taking a look at what we assume is head-to-head contact. We will take a quick step back here as they, oh no, they're coming out of the box. As soon as I say that, they come to a decision. Oh, wow. You hear the applause. 5-minute major to Xavier Jean-Louis for contact to the head.
One opportunity here for the Falcons
to add as many as they want in 5 minutes.
See a replay here.
Oh, yeah. It was the hit on Hodson that leveled him in the offensive zone. So Bowling Green will go on to a 5-minute power play. Hodson on the ice for the power play, along with Morneau and Waters and Ryman and Crampton. Only one defenseman and a very highly scoring one in Braden Crampton. Scored 71 points in 67 games last season with the Spokane Chiefs. Has a point in every series this season, including 2 assists and 3 shots on goal yesterday and the 9-5 win. So they might have got the number wrong because
Jacob Adal
into the box. Jacob Adal goes
skate to the box.
Unless Xavier Jean-Louis was kicked off the ice and we missed it, but I really doubt that's the case because it was 5, not 10. Crampton plays the puck. Bowling Green in the offensive zone on a 5-minute power play. Dominic Ryman with the puck on the left wing, battling for possession with Carter Rappeljay. Rappeljay back out to the blue line. Crampton to the right wing. Tyler Hodson back to Crampton at the top at the CCHA logo. Here's Ryman. Ryman on the left wing, at the left wing dot. His pass across to Morneau is chipped high up in the air. Morneau settles it down on the boards. Xavier Jean-Louis is off the ice for Ferris State. That's going to be a defensive pairing. It's going to be knocked down to one man. Brian Morse, though, extra skating defenseman, is probably going to step into the pairing with Trevor Talene. So Badal did not get a penalty, but will serve the 5. Here's Dom Ryman. Ryman over, pulled up in front. Quinn Emerson had a chance, but he couldn't nail it home. Up to the blue line. Crampton to Ryman. Ryman on the left wing. His feed down is tipped up in the air. Emerson in the left wing corner, taken away by Chris Lee. Emerson pins the puck up against the corner as well. Under 4 minutes left to play in the power play. Hodson on the right wing. Bowling Green's got short change on this power play as well, so they can just keep feeding guys on and off. Norris steps out onto the ice to play with Crampton. 2 defensemen now for the Falcons. On the left wing, Bender in. Rinks it around to Hodson on the right wing. Playing on the right wing, he's far from the Bowling Green bench, so he'll need a beneficial play to get a change. Now Norris back down to the right wing. Tyler Hodson back up to the blue line and Dalton Norris. Norris with the shot in, deflected down. Chris Lee looked to have got a piece of it.
Ben Duran down to the goal line. Emerson wrapped across, short-sided. What a save by Lundberg. A big chance for Tyler Hodson. It's cleared down by Ferris State, who will finally get a change. About 2 minutes of full shift time. Dalton Norris gathers the puck back into the defensive zone and shakes off Rappeljay's forecheck. Badal still sits in the box for the next 3 minutes. A 5-minute major assessed to Xavier Jean-Louis, who's no longer on the bench or on the ice. Here's Brett Foe, back up to the blue line. Norris playing with Stjernberg. Stjernberg back to Norris. Playing the blue line to Duran on the left wing. Into the skate of Duran. He settles it down. Emerson back to Foe. Gets it back out to the blue line. Working in there is Dukovic for Ferris State to try and work the puck back. He gets the puck away. Out to the blue line, Stjernberg to the right wing. The whistle blows. And we're going to get a penalty against Bowling Green.
To Dalton Norris.
We'll see what the announcement is for the senior captain's penalty. So we're only going to get about 27 seconds power play for the Falcons. After Dalton Norris comes out of the box, assuming Bowling Green can hold Ferris State off the board. 3-1, Bowling Green leads, 8:53 left to play in the second. Some penalties being served. You're listening to Falcon Hockey on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Falcon Media Sports Network produces more feature stories about BGSU athletics than any other media outlet. Make sure to head over to bgfalconmedia.com and follow Falcon Media Sports Network at BG_FMSN on Twitter/X and BG Falcon Media on Instagram and Facebook to stay up to date with all of our content.
BG Women's Swim participates in the Magnus Cup Invitational at Busby Natatorium in Cleveland, Ohio on Thursday, November 20th through Saturday, November 22nd. Make sure to check out the recap of the event by Falcon Media Sports Network's Charlotte Beauvais on bgfalconmedia.com.
Check out bgfalconmedia.com for previews, recaps, photos, videos, and more of the Falcons.
Back here in the Slater Family Ice Arena, that timeout brought to you by Juniper Brewing Company, proud creators of the Ale Ziggy Zumba, a light ale made in collaboration with BG Athletics, the fan favorite in the Madhouse on Mercer, also available at 145 South Main Street and downtown Bowling Green. For latest menus and Juniper Brewing Company details, go to juniperbrew.com. The Falcons with 4-on-4 for the next 2 minutes. Dalton Norris serving out a cross-check penalty. And then after that, 27 seconds left on the 5-minute major penalty that was assessed to Xavier Jean-Louis, who was then kicked off the ice, and now Jacob Badal will come out of the box serving the penalty for Ferris State. Bowling Green wins the draw. Gustav Stjernberg with the puck to Jackson Niedermeyer. Niedermeyer playing on defense, but played forward for the Falcons for about a year and change. He streaks down the left wing now. Jackson Niedermeyer in tight with Lundberg, who shuts it off as he was pushed into the goal. Morneau, Niedermeyer, Ryman getting into it a little bit there. Jackson Niedermeyer never won really to get into altercations. And kind of got into a scuffle there, but nothing really going to happen. 8:36 left to play in the second period. 3-1. Bowling Green leads during this 4-on-4.
Norris and Vidal sitting in the box for their respective teams.
No Morneau into Talene. Up to Holden Dole. Holden Dole has an assist on the goal scored by John Lundy, the only goal of the game scored by Ferris State. Into the corner for the Bulldogs. Got in their way a little bit there. Caden Brown went, the pass from Belpedio went off of his stick. Turnover in the offensive zone to Morneau. Morneau flings it down the other end of the ice for an icing.
What a loss, though. And Xavier Jean-Louis for this Ferris State Bulldogs team. This is a guy who is one of their most experienced players, the senior from Montreal, Quebec. He plays, in my opinion, very similarly to Gustav Stjernberg. So, big loss in him.
Tough to describe how much he influences the ice, especially away from the puck and with physicality, which is not something that you can statistically mention, as hits are not recorded in the NCAA. Lead pass up to Breck McKinley. He doesn't get a tip. It's waved off as an icing. So back into the Bowling Green end, still 4-on-4. A draw to the right of Tyler Palmer. But a big loss of Xavier Jean-Louis there, who, as we mentioned a couple of times, not only play without the puck, but also pretty good scorer this season. Did not score yesterday, a goal and 5 assists coming into this weekend. And he'll exit the weekend with the same stats, considering he will not play for the remainder of this game. 7:40 left to play in the second period. 3-1 Bowling Green leads, turns the puck over. They can waste some time, the Falcons can. Wait for Norris to come out of the box. They do have 27 seconds of power play and 5-on-4 after Norrie does come out. Max Martin with the puck back into his own zone. McKinley, Grant, Stjernberg, and Max Martin. Max Martin weaves to the left wing. He's bumped away from the puck. He rinks it around to the blue line on the right wing. For Gustav Stjernberg, the defenseman dumps it down back behind the goal line, played by Messick, who looks to get it outside the blue line. It's carried out by Josh Zary. 2 goals, 2 power play goals yesterday. Tolene, 2 penalties yesterday as well. He takes the puck up the left wing. Jackson Niedermeyer with the puck. Time expiring on Dalton Norris's penalty. Up the ice, tripped is Gustav Stjernberg, but no call coming to Ferris State. Ferris State slaps the puck into the offensive zone. They're playing with a man down for the next 15. Into the right wing corner, trying to waste some time is Gavin Best. Puck away to the center. Tanner Scott gives it up. Now Tanner Scott leaves it back for Brett Foe. Brett Foe takes up the left wing, move over into the middle. He's got some open ice, and it's shut off quickly by Logan Haru, who takes Foe out of the play.
Power play is
now
over
even
for BG.
strength. 5-minute major is killed off by Ferris State, although it was only about 3 minutes of penalty. Chipped up in the air just next to the Ferris State bench. Whistle. And Brett Foe is going to be sent off the ice. Or at least to the penalty box. Yeah, he's just going to go to the penalty box.
What a turnaround for the Falcons. A great penalty kill for the Bulldogs, but you go from having a 5-minute power play originally to spending some time
against Brett Foe.
4-on-4 if you're taking a penalty of your own, and then now as soon as the penalty is over,
pretty late in the play, Foe clearly targeting Logan Haru for the hit that Haru put. I didn't see a slash there, but
it would
have been 2 minutes no matter what. So Josh Zary in for the draw. 6 minutes left to play in the second period.
Coach
a good opportunity here by Ferris State to get a goal on the board.
Coach Willie would not be happy with that penalty from Foe. You got to be more disciplined than that.
Bowling Green. Draw one back by Ferris State. Out to Rappeljay. To the left wing, Christopher Lee down to the goal line. Picked up by Max Edegaki. Edegaki, good distributor of the puck. A decent scorer. Not very big in frame. Gavin Best on the right wing now, behind the goal line. Takes it out to the dot. Now leaves it back for Edegaki on the right wing now. To Rappeljay, back up outside the blue line. He thought Christopher Lee was there, and Chris Lee will have to chase it back into the Ferris State end of the ice. 30 seconds expired. Center ice bump from Max Martin. Maybe offsides there was Rappeljay, but no call coming from the linesman. Cleared over into the slot for the Falcon. Max Martin taking it up the left wing. He dumps it down into the red and gold end of the ice. And now skates off for a change. Rappeljay with the puck and the Bowling Green logo, center ice. Dishes it out to the right wing. Schleppe dumps it in behind the goal. Still in tight there, and ice back down by the Falcons again. The lone goal by Ferris State, John Lundy, assisted by Holden Dole. 3 goals by the Falcons in the first period. Morneau and Grant twice, as the Falcons skated into first intermission with a 3-0 lead. 5 unanswered goals scored in the 2 first periods this weekend for the Falcons over the Bulldogs. Messick bumped away from the puck. It's behind the goal line there. Dalton Norris pins the puck up against the half wall behind Tyler Palmer. We haven't said his name too much. He's only made 7 saves on 8 shots on goal. Shot in across the nose of Palmer. He lets it fly to the blue line. Messick to Dukovic, back to Messick. Messick into the middle. Schleppe, a nice shot. It beats Palmer, but wide right of the goal. 5 seconds left to play, and the penalty to Brett Foe for slashing tipped over into Tyler Palmer. And Ferris State not able to score on this power play. Back up to Brett Foe. Brett Foe on the ice skating for the Falcons now. A bit of a breakaway for Bowling Green. Morneau is whistled offsides. He had the puck. Either Max Martin or Brett Foe was offsides. Foe probably going to get a talk now from one of the coaches for taking that slashing penalty. Under 4 left to play in the second period, 3-1. The Falcons lead, and they lead in shots on goal by 7 as well. They have won one more faceoff than Ferris State, led by a sizable margin yesterday. Puck iced around to the right wing in the Ferris State O-zone. Here's Brody Waters into the corner, battling with Gustav Stjernberg. Waters is decked down to the ice. Puck away to Bowling Green. Waters not too happy. Stjernberg's not happy as well, but they'll skate away from the play. Brandon Wynot back behind the goal. Big check incoming from Brody Waters, but he missed it into the boards, and he lost the blade of his skate. Waters is not able to get out of the ice. He's pretty much away from the play. It's a 5-on-4 for Ferris State. They shoot it over the head of Palmer into the netting. Luckily, Waters' absence from the play won't mean too much.
Second time a skate blade has broke this game for the Falcons. Earlier it was Ben Duran having to crawl across the ice.
Couple of them breaking in the Minnesota State series as well. Yeah, the blade of the left skate of Brody Waters just came off.
Also, shout out to Maxwell Martin reaching his stick out. Martin on the bench, reaching his stick out to try and give Waters a chance to grab onto it to help him get back to the bench.
Couple of problems in the series in Mankato about the actual blade holder being broken on the skates for the Falcons. So some skating issues going on with the equipment for Bowling Green. 3:15 left to play in the second. Face off to the left of Tyler Palmer in the Bowling Green end of the ice. McKinley to the right wing. Tanner Scott up to Tyler Hodson. Hodson gets a tip on the favorable side of the center line, so no icing. Jaden Grant left wing corner. It's it to open ice. Belpedio shuts it off to Tanner Scott out to the blue line. Held in the blue line nicely by McKinley. Shot in off the half wall, swept away by Lundberg with his stick. Out to Gavin Best. Gavin Best flips it over his shoulder. Maybe could have been a hand pass there, but his back turned to the blue line and he flips it outside of the Ferris State zone. Here's Tallene, big check in front of the Ferris State bench. They get up for that one. Some bodies being thrown around for both sides. Less so in the second, but through the entire game. 2:30 left to play in the second now. Time expiring in the period for Ferris State to try and get a goal. Bowling Green starkly outscored in second periods this season. They've done better the last couple of games at least evening the score, but definitely a better team in the first and third periods. Here's Morneau. Stjernberg can't keep it inside the blue line. Ferris State down into the offensive zone. Tyler Schleppe a bit open. Dishes it across to the left side. Shot off by Tyler Palmer. What a save there. Schleppe's getting into it with Stjernberg. Dukovic getting some push in there in front of President Rogers' personal box there in between the student section. Here in the Madhouse on Mercer, and
Stjernberg
most
and
likely
Schleppe.
nothing going to come from that.
Stjernberg and Schleppe exchanging words. The two assistant captains for their respective teams.
Schleppe, a good pass there to the left wing. It was, I believe, Carter Rappeljay that was not able to get his opportunity, and a nice save by Tyler Palmer. And here we see Tyler Schleppe. That'll get the gate for 2. And Stjernberg is heading his way over to the box, and he's going to get the box too. Most likely 2 minutes for roughing. Four on 4 for the next 2. Both teams assessed for roughing.
In the box, Schleppe and Stjernberg continue to exchange words. Mentioned, I believe, 4-on-4 for the next 2 minutes. Exactly 2 minutes left on the clock here in the second period. So for the remainder of this period, there'll be a 4-on-4 with no carryover to the third.
Lundy and Dole with Messick and Belpedio on the ice for Ferris State. And again, one of their best scoring defensemen, actually the best scoring defenseman that they have, Xavier Jean-Louis, out on the ice. One of their best skaters, one of their, by my money, the best defenseman.
Sternberg and Schleppe still barking back and forth at each other inside the box. Ref actually comes over and seems to give them a talking to.
Back in the Bowling Green end of the ice to the right of Tyler Palmer. Max Martin plays the puck away to the left wing. Here's Braden Crampton. He's the puck in. Back pass to Grant. Grant a shot in, looking for his third of the game, and he's taken in behind the goal line. Now to Norris. Norris to the right wing, held inside the blue line by Braden Crampton. Crampton and Norris, a first-line defensive pairing. Grant and Martin, two returners for the Falcons, and two players that play very well on both ends of the ice. Grant gets the puck free, keeps it in the offensive zone. Bowling Green gets a change. Here's Ben Duran. Martin able to come away with the puck. A heck of a shift for Max Martin that gets his guys a change and still is able to hold possession in the O-zone on this 4-on-4. Next minute 10 will be 4-on-4. Niedermeyer loses the puck. It's out to the blue line, held in by Ben Duran. Duran to the middle. Slap shot, Niedermeyer off the stick, up into the netting. Defensive play by Belpedio. Face-off coming in the Ferris State end. Looks like we might have a bit of carryover into the third period. 1:05 left on the power play clock. 1:04 left on the game clock. But don't know if they're going to cover the specifics there.
Might be a slight
or a slight problem with the clock issue.
One of the two clocks.
Chris Lee around the left side of the goal. He's slapped by Quinn Emerson. Puck away to Emerson with Duran. Battling behind the goal now. Emerson and Duran with the puck in the offensive zone. Here's Quinn Emerson, high right wheel. His shot in off of the skate of Chris Lee. Back out to Emerson. Emerson at the blue line. Down to Ben Duran in the left wing. Back out to the blue line. CCHA logo. Wrist shot from Breck McKinley into Lundberg. Battling that front was Emerson. To the right wing. Niedermeyer shot in, blocked by Gavin Best, the captain. Emerson takes his man out of the play. That was Lee, who got just back up to his feet. Dukovic rings the puck around, or fakes to, and now Gavin Best takes it offensively for Ferris State. Shot in to Tyler Palmer. Kind of an awkward save there. Trevor Talene with the puck. Wrists it over. Oh, slap shot for Gavin Best. On the backside, Trevor Talene couldn't get another try at it. Now a 2-on-1 breakaway for the Falcons. Right wing, Noah Morneau. Left wing, Braden Crampton. Morneau with the shot in, and it's deflected down and away. The period expires. Sternberg and Schleppe will not come out of the box. They'll start in the box for the third period. Some face washing going on between Norris and a Bulldog. Looks like Nick Belpedio. Morneau and Crampton with a heck of a chance at the back couple of seconds of that second period, but couldn't net it, and the Falcons head into the Mardi Gras second intermission report from the Falcon Media Sports Network with a 3-1 lead. You're listening to Falcon Hockey on WBGU 88.1 FM.
This is Phil Beskid, BGSU Radio Faculty Advisor. You can catch all the Falcon Media Sports Network broadcasts on our two stations, WBGU 88.1 FM and Falcon Radio, which can both be found on bgfalconmedia.com. Ziggy.
The IRS is urging people to beware of ads that promise big money by claiming the Employee Retention Tax Credit. This is a real tax credit that helps businesses that were affected by the pandemic, but scammers are telling people they qualify when they don't. The scammer takes a fee and your personal information. If you're not eligible for the credit, getting conned by this could cost you a lot. The IRS doesn't want that to happen to you, so check the official information at irs.gov/ERC.
BGSU football begins match and play against Akron on Tuesday, November 18th at Deutsch L. Perry Stadium. Tune in to Falcon Media Sports Network Tyler Kavlitz and Sean Connolly at 7 p.m. for kickoff. There will also be an in-studio pregame, halftime, and postgame show hosted by Nate Hinners, Artie Abrego, and Brendan Fagan, all starting at 6:35 p.m. on Falcon Radio.
Hey everybody, this is Kevin Hutchinson, host of The Swoop.
And this is Brooke Blake, executive producer for The Swoop. The Swoop is BG24's sports talk show about all things BGSU athletics.
New episodes come out every Thursday at 6 p.m. at bgfalconmedia.com.
All right, welcome into our Falcon Media Sports Network second intermission report. It is brought to you by Marta Crow, or the second intermission Marta Crow report, brought to you in memory of Marta Crow, Falcon hockey fanatic and avid Falcon hockey listener on WBGU 88.1 FM. So in that second period, definitely a little bit calmer than that first period. That first period, very full of action. Second period, slowing down a bit more, especially compared, yesterday we were pretty much busy all three periods. Today, very busy first period. Still got some action in the second, but definitely calming down a little bit. By the way, at the end of the second period, we now are at with Bowling Green up 3-1. Ferris State scoring their first goal in that second period. Andrew, a little bit more about that second period, about what went on there.
Yeah, I mean, just the one goal there by Ferris State that I believe that was shot by John Lundy. A little bit less offensive, firepower from the Falcons in this period, especially compared to how the series with Ferris State has gone and how explosive they've been. But, only allowing one goal is still pretty good for a period, especially given how the second period last night they allowed 3. I thought they played exceptionally well again on defense despite allowing the goal. Bowling Green won 9 faceoffs compared to Ferris State's 8. Bowling Green had 6 penalty minutes. Ferris State had 7. 6 shots on goal for each team. 5 saves for the Falcons, 6 for the Bulldogs. So not as much offensive action for sure. Just a lot of kind of back and forth, hitting the puck around. Still Morneau kind of toward the end there, took a shot, didn't quite make it, but still made quite the effort there. Really, I think this Falcons team has been playing pretty well tonight.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely still up there, 3-1 again here at the end of the second half. Coming up as we continue on with our Falcon Media Sports Network second intermission report brought to you in memory of Marta Crow. We will talk about what else is going on in Falcon athletics, from the BGSU men's basketball game currently in action now to some other exciting news in Falcon athletics today. I'll tell you about that. Coming up, keep it here. You're listening to WBGU 88.1 FM.
How was your drive to school?
Let me tell you. I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then, someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Before I came to Alcoholics Anonymous, I thought all the people that I knew who didn't drink were self-righteous people, holier than thou. So it never occurred to me that Alcoholics Anonymous was filled with people who had drank like I did, and now were the same people that I used to drink with, the same people that I liked, only now they weren't drinking. They were people just like me who had been drinking for a long time and found out that it didn't work for them anymore.
Visit AA.org for more information and download the Meeting Guide app to find a meeting near you.
On January 31st, 2025, BGSU senior forward Jackson Niedermeyer scored a game-winning goal in overtime on the road against Northern Michigan, notching BG 2 points and securing Niedermeyer's first multi-point game as a Falcon. Falcon Media Sports Network's Ben Korak had the call on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Larson with the shot taken away by Bowling Green. This is Jackson Niedermeyer, takes it up the right wing. Looking for a pass, now looking for a shot. He scores! Jackson Niedermeyer, the overtime winner with a buck left in overtime. And Bowling Green takes the much-needed extra point. What a wrist shot.
This has been a Falcon Media Sports Network featured call.
And welcome back to Falcon Media Sports Network second intermission report, brought to you in memory of Marta Crow. The Falcons again up 3-1 over Ferris State here at the end of the second period. So taking a look at what else is going on in Falcon athletics today. First, getting to that BGSU men's basketball game that's going on now down in North Carolina. With 3:22 left in the second half, Davidson Wildcats lead the Falcons 80-64. So Davidson expanding their lead on the Falcons in the second half with about 3 minutes to go. So we'll keep you updated on that as that game continues on. Again, 3:22 left in that. But yeah, Davidson staying up higher on that one, so we'll keep you updated. But some big news today in Falcon athletics, just coming out a few hours ago, probably just in the past hour. The MAC tournament has announced their volleyball championship schedule, and Bowling Green will be in the MAC championship. They'll be taking on Ohio in match number 2. That's going to be on November 21st at 7 p.m. So if either Bowling Green or Ohio wins that, they'll take on Western Michigan. But going into the matchup, Bowling Green is ranked at seed 6. Ohio ranked at seed 3. So seed-wise, Ohio having the advantage over the Falcons for volleyball. But of course, we'll have to see how that all goes. Again, coming up on November 21st at 7 p.m. Next Friday at 7 p.m. We'll see how that goes. By the way, the MAC tournament will be here in Bowling Green at the Stroh Center. So if Falcon fans want to come out and watch the Falcons in their postseason matchup, it'll be very convenient for them here over at the Stroh Center. So some big news going on in Falcon athletics today. All right, coming up as we continue on with our Falcon Media Sports Network second intermission report, we'll have Andrew with our player of the game watch as we continue on with that. Keep it here. You're listening to WBGU 88.1 FM.
On September 5th, 2025, BGSU men's soccer forward Trace Terry found the back of the net with a spectacular goal within the first 5 minutes of the match to defeat Michigan State 1-0, marking the second straight season the Falcons defeated the Spartans. Falcon Media Sports Network's Lucas Kleinmeyer had the call of the goal on the WBGU PBS YouTube channel livestream.
Suarez will look along for Terry. He's going to find Terry. He's going to take it on the bounce. The left footed shot is in! Oh, what a strike from Trace Terry! 1-0 Bowling Green!
This has been a Falcon Media Sports Network featured call.
BGSU football begins match play against Akron on Tuesday, November 18th at Deutsch L. Perry Stadium. Tune in to Falcon Media Sports Network Tyler Kavlitz and Sean Connolly at 7 p.m. for kickoff. There will also be an in-studio pregame, halftime, and postgame show hosted by Nate Hinners, Artie Abrego, and Brendan Fagan, all starting at 6:35 p.m. on Falcon Radio.
Falcon Media Sports Network writes and publishes over 1,000 stories per year, including game previews, recaps, sidebars, opinion pieces, feature stories, and more. Head over to bgfalconmedia.com to view all of our content for every sport throughout the year.
Welcome back to the Falcon Media Sports Network Marta Crow second intermission report here on WBGU 88.1 FM. The Falcons up 3-1 after the second period as they're taking on the Ferris State Bulldogs over at the Slater Family Ice Arena here in Bowling Green. Andrew, now going into our Falcon Media Sports Network Player of the Game watch. Again, that second period kind of slowing down action-wise a bit, but still the Falcons remain ahead. So who are some athletes you're continuing to keep an eye on?
I've got three guys in mind here. Two of them are going to sound quite familiar. I'm still sticking with Noah Morneau, and I'm still sticking with Jaden Grant. You know, they combined for the only points for the Falcons with 3 goals, two for Grant and 1 for Morneau. Morneau, he's won 7 faceoffs. He has a block. Grant has won 5 faceoffs. Those two guys have been making their presence known. You know, they've been out on the ice. You know, they've been looking great. But I also want to give a shout out to Tyler Palmer, the goalkeeper. He has 9 saves and has only allowed 1 goal, so he's been playing quite well throughout this match so far.
Yeah, definitely. All right, as we continue on with our Falcon Media Sports Network pregame show, we will have our final thoughts going into the next final period of tonight's matchup. Keep it here. You're listening to WBGU 88.1 FM.
My daughter was diagnosed with a rare malignant rhabdoid tumor on the spine. They sent her straight to St. Jude. My hope was gone. But when you get there, everyone's like, hey, we're not going to give up. And when you see other people not giving up on your child, that makes all the difference in the world. When I found out I didn't have to pay, I was just grateful. They saved my baby's life.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
I'm the threat that's already inside the house. I can't be scared away or negotiated with. You can't call the cops on me. You can't even see me. I'm the threat of family fire, and as long as your guns aren't stored securely, I'll be there. Protect your family. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
Did you know Falcon Media Sports Network has video highlights of BGSU athletic events? To see all the moments from your favorite BGSU teams and athletes, head over to the BG Falcon Media YouTube channel or view them on bgfalconmedia.com.
Just a few minutes away now from the third period for tonight's hockey matchup against Ferris State for the Falcons. Again, the Falcons up. In case you're just tuning in now, the Falcons are up 3-1 over the Bulldogs. A second night of play for them. Definitely last night a much busier game, but still have an exciting matchup going on tonight. By the way, getting you a quick update on another matchup going on now down in North Carolina for the men's basketball team, the Falcon men's basketball team. The Davidson Wildcats have extended their lead on the Bowling Green Falcons, 85-69. 1:44 left in the second half for that matchup, so we'll keep you updated on that. As that game starts to wrap on up. But as we get ready to send things on and back out to Ben and Nathan at the Slater Family Ice Arena, Andrew, your final thoughts as we get ready for the third period.
Yeah, I mean, I've been kind of saying this all night, but I think just keep doing what you're doing. You know, I think they've been playing a really stout game defensively. I think you want to just make sure you're maintaining your zones and, you know, continue making great physical plays like I know this team is capable of. I think just... maybe to really solidify this win, you're going to want to get your guys a couple more goals, you know, maybe get more no going and all that.
Yeah, all right. We will see as we'll be back with you guys during the post-game show after this third period wraps up. One more quick update on that men's basketball game with Davidson. Davidson is now up 86-72 over the Falcons. With that matchup, there is 1:24 left in the second half, so... Ben will keep you updated as that one finishes up. I'll let him know when that one wraps up. But speaking of Ben Korak and Nathan Burkett, let's hand things on back out to them one final time at the Slater Family Ice Arena as we get you ready for the third period. Hey guys, how's it going?
Pretty good, Nate. Thank you again for doing the Marta Crow second intermission report. The late Marta Crow, a longtime BGSU hockey fan, listener of WBGU 88.1 FM. A 2-goal lead for the Falcons, 3-1 over Ferris State as they look to complete a sweep over the Bulldogs this weekend. You look around the CCHA as well. The only team ahead of Bowling Green in the standings, Bemidji State, currently in a deadlock 1-1 at the 13-minute mark in the third period. Steven Sardarian scored a goal in the second. It's 1-1 in the third, and that'll be a big win for Michigan Tech, from Michigan Tech, but also if you're a Bowling Green fan, that puts you in first place with a regulation win today over Ferris State. First sweep that you would take since Lake State. Took their first regulation win, 9-5 yesterday against Ferris State at home. It's the first regulation win of the home season. We've seen less offensive output today, Nathan. Yep, but still pretty solid offense all around.
I mean, I feel like we were a little bit spoiled yesterday when it came to goal scoring, but so this is a solid game so far. I mean, all things considered.
And for the draw, Noah Morneau has the opening goal in the game. Right now, the game-winning goal stands as Jaden Grant. He had 2 in a row within 20 seconds of each other in the first period.
Jaden Grant now ranks with his. Now he's up to 4 goals on the season, so now he's considered second on the team in goals so far this year.
All 4 goals coming in just 2 games played. First game against Lake State, now second game against Ferris State if he tries to add another today. The first hat trick of his career. Schleppe with the puck, crosses it into Dukovic, who is being tied up in front of the net. Shot in by Lee, easily saved by Tyler Palmer with his right hand. Behind the goal again, Dukovic. Dalton Norris takes it away defensively. Ryman gets a tip. Ferris State fires it in. Dukovic off of his skate. It's up to center ice and back down next to Lundberg for an icing call. Falcons will miss out on their change.
Not the best period last period for the Falcons in terms of shot production. Went from 12 shots on goal in the first period to only 6 in the second. Still outshoots the Bulldogs 11-18.
Quick shot in from the point by Gavin Best. This puck is flipped high in the air out to center ice, and faceoffs most likely going to come back in the Bowling Green end. They had a couple of guys streaking deep, but just a bit too high of a pass there.
Hit off the roof of the Slater Family Ice Arena.
Pretty low roof here in the Slater Family Ice Arena. One of the reasons that it does get so loud in here, one of the most difficult places to play in the CCHA, especially with how loud and rowdy Bowling Green hockey fans are. Down into the corner. Worth mentioning as well, Ferris State's going to play out a defenseman. Xavier Jean-Louis he was ejected in the midway through the second period, playing on a defensive pairing with Trevor Talian. Lucky that Ferris State has the extra skating Brian Morse to get that defensive pairing, but you are going to shorten your bench a bit if you're Ferris State to try and get a goal on the board before you have to pull your goalie in the last couple of minutes of play. They trail by 2. This puck back into the Ferris State end of the ice. Talene with the puck away to the right wing. First in for the Falcons is Max Martin. Gavin Best up the left wing. Hodson gets the puck up against the boards. Itagaki with it. Over to Jaden Grant. Jaden Grant pushes it out to center ice. Tyler Hodson chases into the offensive zone. And it's turned over back to Ferris State. Talene with the puck on the right wing. Playing with Brian Morse on a pairing now. Now he gets it from behind the goal to Caden Brown. Caden Brown on the right wing now. Played both games in a row. 2 C Browns on Ferris State squad, Connor Brown and Caden Brown. Connor Brown, a defenseman who has not played so far this season, played a bit last year. And a pretty solid defensive group for Ferris State that included Travis Shouty. Bowling Green crosses it over in front of Lundberg, and Lundberg diving play to shut the puck off. That was a nice pass by looked to be Brandon Wynot. He had Ben Duran in there close. That was Brody Waters and Ben Duran. And Waters trying to cross it into Wynot. It was just a step too far away from the blue paint.
One opportunity there for Why Not. Still in search of his first career point and first career goal since joining the Falcons after playing last season with the Tri-City Americans of the Western Hockey League.
Face off, Morneau is shoved way down to the ice, into the offensive zone. Breaking away here is Emerson Good. Good with a chance. He's pressed away by Niedermeyer and can't get a clean shot on goal off. Had a very little angle against Palmer. He was coming in with a bit too much speed there. Jacob Badal on the right wing, taken out of the play by Morneau. Not enough good that you can say about Noah Morneau. He has just been outstanding for the Falcons on both ends of the ice. Away from the puck, with the puck, defensively, offensively. And the key player for the Falcons the last 2 weeks. 2 goals against Minnesota State in the first game, 3 goals yesterday, and a goal today. Braden Crampton with the puck. He takes it outside of his own blue line, down the right wing, fires it in. Slowed down by Lundberg. Martin back out to the blue line. McKinley plays it. Back down to Martin. Now Hodson with the puck. Forehand, shoves it back down to Jaden Grant. Knocks his man down to the ice. Puck away to the Falcons. Orange and brown. Slap shot in. Crampton barely missed the goal there. That was inches from iron. Hodson able to hold it inside the blue line. Skating with the puck. Here's Max Martin. Crosses it into Hodson. A step late. Puck forced outside the blue line by Ferris State. It's out to center ice. Max Martin up to Ben Duran. Off of the bench down the right wing. Duran being defended by Chris Lee, who pokes Duran into the corner. Takes Duran away from the puck. Bowling Green skates away with the puck now to Why Not. Why Not shot misses the rack. Lundberg was beat on that shot by Brandon Why Not. Still, as Nathan mentioned a minute ago, searching for his first point in the orange and brown. Only his 5th game played for Brandon Why Not. Played for Tri-City last season as Bowling Green gets a defensive recovery here. Here's Why Not down the left wing. 4 games played, 3 in a row. From the second Lake Superior State game to the 2 Bemidji State game, and then has only played 1 game as extra skater in Mankato. And then the game played today, didn't play yesterday though. End of the corner, Itagaki in the offensive zone for Ferris State, held in the line by Belpedio. Chipped up high in the air. Itagaki to Ryman, out to the blue line. Fired in by Talene, way up and into the Remis Green mezzanine here in the Slater Family Ice Arena. That's a long puck out of play. 15:22 left to play in the third. Still a 2-goal lead for the Falcons.
Both teams will take this opportunity to get changes. Bowling Green sends out their line of Jaden Grant and Maxwell Martin with Tyler Hodson.
Sternberg out to center ice. Belpedio misses his glove, but still the puck to the red and gold. Wearing all red uniforms today. Gold lettering and logo and some black piping as well. Lundy's offsides. Puck will come out to center ice. An even chance at the puck here. 15 minutes left to play in the third period. A 2-goal lead for the Falcons. Scoring open with Noah Morneau's 7th goal of the season, his 4th goal of the weekend, assisted by Emerson and Ryman. And then at 12:37 and 12:57, Jaden Grant scored goals in the first period, his 3rd and 4th goals of the season. Assisted by Emerson, Blake, Hodson, and Martin. All got assists on Jaden Grant's goal. Max Martin did score a goal in the second period, about 1:42 into this period, but it was whistled off due to offsides. And then John Lundy for Ferris State scored the most recent goal and the only goal for the Bulldogs today. Niedermeyer slap shot in front of Lundberg as he kicked it away. It slapped toward the goal, and I believe Lundberg is able to shut it down. Hammering away at the puck was Tanner Scott, looking for his first point.
Jake Sloan was also in the area looking for the rebound. Scored his first career goal last night. Got tripped up on the play, went down hard with Sloan. He was a little bit shaken up, took a minute to get up and skate to the bench.
Bowling Green in for the draw. It's Ben Duran against Gavin Best. Up to center ice. Duran gets a tip, but it's back into the Ferris State end. Ferris State's dominated possession here in the third period. Willie probably not very happy with how his team has performed, at least in puck possession. Out to center ice, although the Falcons still lead by 2 goals, which is a dangerous lead. Up the left wing, Brandon Wynot. His shot in is deflected in front and away from the cage. Now good pass to Brody Waters. Waters shot, score! Right wing, Brody Waters, 2 games in a row after 8 without. What a shot by Brody Waters, known as a cleanup man, playing janitor in front of the blue paint, and he took that one from distance on the right wing.
Assist will go to Ben Duran. Found Brody Waters across the ice. Made a perfect tape-to-tape pass and a rip of a shot from Brody Waters.
No more, no, into the dot. That's got to feel good for Waters to get the monkey off of his back yesterday and also to get a goal today. Offsides is the call against Bowling Green, so the puck will come back out to center. Assisted by Duran and Wynot. That's Wynot's first point of his career in orange and brown. And Duran his 5th assist of the season. So a 4-1 lead, Bowling Green Sports now. 2-goal lead might be the worst in hockey, but 3 is relatively safe for the Falcons, who pretty sure are not just going to park the bus and are going to still play in the offensive zone as much as they normally would. Dom Ryman with the puck, half wall left wing. Crampton back around to McKinley. McKinley out to Quinn Emerson. Schleppe dumps it back down, but 2 white jerseys in there before the first red jersey. Up to the right wing, center ice. Here's Dom Ryman. His feet are swept up, and an easy call there. Believe that was Dukovic. That's going to get called for the penalty. That's the only second penalty assessed to Ferris State today, not counting the game misconduct to Xavier Jean-Louis, and Dukovic will serve 2 for tripping.
This could be an opportunity for the Falcons to put this game up and out of reach. Currently have a 3-goal lead.
I mean, a clear leg sweep there. Just brought Ryman down to the ice with his feet out under him. Yeah, it looked like the knee hit the back of Dom Ryman's knee as he was skating toward the puck. An own zone penalty as well for Ferris State, only their second. The only other one, Nick Belpedio. And then, of course, Xavier Jean-Louis is given 15 minutes for a 5-minute major and a game misconduct for hitting to the head against Tyler Hodson. Up to the blue line, Bowling Green power play. Dalton Norris at that blue line. Stjernberg down to the left wing. This is a first power play shift without Braden Crampton out as defenseman. Here's Duran, his shot in. Caroms away from Lundberg, skated away by Ferris State. Out to the neutral zone and dumped down to Palmer. Puck played back by Palmer to Norris. Falcons captain at number 14 leads it up down the left wing. Tries to dump it back, and a good play by Emerson Good. He wears a check, though, as the puck's turned back over to the Falcons. Orange and brown in the offensive zone again. Ben Durans to Stjernberg. Stjernberg back down, slapped in. Norris with the puck, left wing now. Very much some open ice now for the Falcons as they've created pretty good separation. Stjernberg to the right wing. Brett Foe now to Norris, left wing blue line. Norris, slap shot, gloved by Lundberg. A nice stop there by the sophomore goaltender. 12:37 left to play in the third. A minute left to play in the power play, and a 4-1 Bowling Green lead.
Bowling Green not being overly aggressive on this power play. Not that they have to be. Out there now for the Falcons. Morneau, who scored a hat trick last night, has a goal tonight. Hodson, Ramon, Crampton. I can't quite make out the other. Brody Waters.
Holden Dole doesn't win the faceoff. Bowling Green with the puck. Crampton can't keep it inside the blue line, and he'll skate back. Bit of a breakaway for Carter Rappeljay. Rappeljay in. Shot, score! A shorthanded breakaway goal for Carter Rappeljay. Ferris State climbs within 2. It's 4-2. Bowling Green still leads.
Braden Crampton lost the puck, didn't know where it went, and Rappeljay will take advantage.
That's his 3rd goal of the season, is Rappeljay, most likely unassisted, as Crampton just couldn't hold that puck inside the blue line. A very hot pass, though, toward him.
The redshirt junior, Rappeljay, scoring, as Ben mentioned, 5th of the year in his first year with Ferris State after coming here from Long Island University.
2-goal game now. Still about 40 seconds of power play left for the Falcons. Norris to Sternberg. Sternberg peels it off the boards. Back to Norris in center at the point. Now to the right wing. Foe back up to Norris. To Sternberg, back to Norris, playing catch with the puck. Norris back to Sternberg, looking to get open ice. Duran on the left wing to Norris in center. At the blue line to Foe on the right wing. Bowling Green just toying with the puck now. Pass in tight to Quinn Emerson. It's cleared away and held inside the blue line barely by Dalton Norris. Into Gustav Sternberg to the right wing, Brett Foe. Bowling Green not taking too many shots on this power play, although they've had some pretty good puck movement. It's cleared outside the blue line, and coming out of the box comes Dukovic. Successful penalty kill for Ferris State, outside of the fact that they also was able to score a shorthanded goal. Rappeljay's goal is unassisted as well, so only 3 points combined in the game. John Lundy with a goal, Holden Dole with an assist, and Carter Rappeljay with his 3rd goal as a Ferris State Bulldog. McKinley fans on this puck, wrapped around by Niedermeyer out to Itagaki. A nice play to get that puck away with Itagaki threatening. Here's Max Martin, tries to cross it into center to himself. He gets a shot on goal. Lundberg shrugs it off of his shoulder. Out to the glass, kept inside the blue line by McKinley. To Brandon Wynot, down the left wing. His shot in toward Lundberg is gloved and held on to. Able to corral that puck. Still 4-2. Still a 2-goal lead for Bowling Green with 10:43 left to play in the 3rd. We'll take this chance as the Falcons and the Bulldogs change to take a step back for station identification. You're listening to Falcon Hockey.
Yeah, you're listening to WBGU 88.1 FM, and a quick update on that men's basketball game going on now. Davidson has defeated the Bowling Green Falcons 91-87 at the end of regular play. Again, that matchup going on down in North Carolina. We'll have more on that coming up in our Falcon Media Sports Network postgame show. Right now, send things on back out to Ben and Nathan at the Slater Family Ice Arena.
Puck kept inside the blue line. Jack Blake with that shot in. It's tipped up out to the right wing boards and skated out by John Lundy. Lundy with a pass, intercepted and flipped out of the zone by Tanner Scott. Well placed was the freshman. A new addition to the lineup today. Pass down to Belpedio. Belpedio wraps it around the other side of the goal. Pushes it back out to the blue line. Haru has to backtrack and come up with the puck here. Down the right wing. Belpedio with the puck. Wraps in front and it's caromed away. Dole comes up with it to Tulleen. Tulleen with a slap shot is blocked by Wynot on a full cell. These freshmen getting down for Bowling Green. Belpedio can't hold the puck in. Jaden Grant will be off to the races to this puck. He'll get there first and avoid the icing. Crossover. Grant with the shot. He had a chance at his 3rd goal, and it goes into the chest of Lundberg. Cherry picking a bit is Carter Rappeljay. Skating the puck up is Dukovic. Dukovic looking for a pass now. Wraps it around the other side of the goal on the left wing in the O-zone now. Shot over in front of Palmer. Palmer misses it with the glove, clears it away with the stick. Down into the left wing corner. Ferris State with some offensive zone time now. Under 10 minutes to go here in the 3rd period. Up to Chris Lee. Chris Lee the shot in, banked off the half wall, wrapped around. Another shot is taken away by Jaden Grant back to the half wall behind the goal. Grant out to Crampton. Crampton's pass is stifled by Dukovic. Back out to the point. Chris Lee, open ice. His pass down is intercepted by Max Martin. A good stick there by the sophomore forward for the Falcons. Forces Ferris State to exit the zone. A weird hop off of the boards and off of the shelf on the half wall. Up to Tanner Scott, right wing. Dishes it out to center. Hodson fires it in. Hodson, Duran, and Tanner Scott on the ice now as forwards for the Falcons. Hodson in the right wing corner. Out up at the blue line now. Fed down to Duran. Duran behind the goal to the left wing. Cut off by Jacob Badal. Duran takes Badal into the boards. Puck back there as well behind the goal line in the Bowling Green O-zone. Hodson looks to cross. Now with speed away. Holden Dole tries to cross it in to Emerson Good. Good had a pretty prime chance a couple of minutes ago. Wasn't able to fill it. Got in too tight with Tyler Hodson's been the main thing he's done this weekend. Logan Haru back down to Badal. To the left wing, Josh Zary. Haven't said his name too much. Said his name quite a bit yesterday. Both because of a couple of penalties and also because of a couple of goals, both on the power play. Belpedio back behind the goal. And Tyler Palmer. Puck to Sternberg. Sternberg lifts it out to center. Going to be cleared down for an icing against the Falcons. A long shift for Bowling Green as it's still Scott, Hodson, and Duran. 7:30 left to play in the third. 4-2, Bowling Green leads Ferris State. Second of their two-game series this weekend.
Ever since that shorthanded goal, Ferris State has been showing some signs of life. Gotta wonder if we'll look back on that as the turning point of this game. You go into that power play for the Falcons thinking that maybe they can put the game away. Instead, you allow Ferris State to crawl back in.
Talene with the puck. Dukovic inside the offensive blue line for Ferris State. Schleppe loses control as he tried to get it back out to the blue line. Noah Morneau skates it away. He avoids a hit. Talene goes head first into the boards as Morneau able to scamper out of the way. Here's Ferris State with puck possession in their own end. Dom Ryman defensively with a poke check there. Talene with the puck down the left wing now. Outside of his own blue line. High in the air, lifted for Rappeljay. Rappeljay puts a check on. Emerson and Gavin Best battling for possession of the puck. Here's Jack Messick. Messick a shot in, saved by Palmer into the corner. Now Best crosses it in the slot. Shot into the chest of Palmer and he shuts it down. 6:41 left to play in the third period. 4-2. Bowling Green lead at this Juniper Brewing Company timeout. Juniper Brewing Company located at 145 South Main Street and downtown Bowling Green, featuring coffee and craft beer and serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. See the latest menu at juniperbrew.com. A 2-goal lead for the Falcons as we head into the second half of the third period. You're listening to Falcon Hockey on WBGU 88.1 FM.
This week's Falcon Media Sports Network Athlete of the Week is men's basketball's Javonte Campbell. The senior guard from Muskogee, Oklahoma leads the nation with 17 steals and tied the program record with 8 steals against Lemoyne. He is averaging a steal every 5 minutes played this season. Last year, he set the BGSU single-season record with 90 steals. Campbell has 2 20-plus point games against Lemoyne and Bethany. You're seeing a very intelligent basketball player at his best, said head coach Todd Simon. In 3 games, the senior averaged 20.7 points while tallying 17 steals, 10 assists, and has a shooting percentage of 52%. This has been this week's Falcon Media Sports Network's Athlete of the Week.
Ben Korak and the Falcon Media Sports Network crew covering the Falcon hockey team throughout the season.
Face-off coming to the Bowling Green, end of the ice. Last 6 minutes and 40 seconds of the third period. A 2-goal lead for Bowling Green. Still a dangerous one for Ferris State that's scored pretty well this weekend. They've scored 7 goals, which normally wouldn't be too bad, but you compare that to 13 on the weekend scored by the Falcons, and it looks pretty poor.
Yeah. Unfortunately for the Falcons, Ferris State's been showing some signs of life. Can they hold out for another 6:41 and have it be 2 straight games with a regulation win as opposed to having to go to overtime or shootout?
They did take 2 regulation wins over Lake State at Lake State. It was the last time they were able to do so. They have not done it at home yet this season. Face-off won by Ferris State. Out to the blue line. Shot in by Messick. Dropped down on the doorstep and cleared away by the Falcons out to center. Ferris State's really held on to the puck well, and especially in the mid parts of the third period, but most of the third period and some of the second as well. And Bowling Green's defense just been enough to hold them off, at least so far. Out of the last 3 goals, Bowling Green has only scored 1, so Ferris State's outscored the Falcons. Although it's been tied they have outscored the Falcons in the last 2 periods. Granted, the Falcons had a 3-goal lead coming into the second. Here's Belpedio and the offensive zone. Losing his stick was Ben Duran. He grabs onto his stick before it was cleared outside of the zone by the driving Brody Waters, who was trying to get the puck outside of his own blue line. Ben Duran flips the puck up high in the air. Waters will chase to make sure that his guys get a change. Tanner Scott's been on the ice a lot in this 3rd period. Obviously some good things seen. Here's Brody Waters, tried to make a move on Lundberg as it was cleared over on a turnover to Brody Waters. Looking for a 2nd goal of the game after scoring his first 2 goals of the season this weekend. 1 yesterday, 1 today. Morneau clears the puck in tight with Palmer. He makes the save. It's away from the Falcons. Out to Tanner Scott. Defensive recovery. Discs it out to Quinn Emerson on the left wing. Scott comes off the ice now. Ryman on. Here's Braden Crampton, the defenseman. Takes a check into the boards. Puck out to center ice, though. And away from danger. 5 minutes left to play in the 3rd. A 2-goal lead for Bowling Green. If you're Martin Lundberg, you don't really have to start looking yet, but you got to have it in the back of your mind that you might be heading off for that extra attacker.
Keep your
Grant
eye
spun away
peeled
from the puck.
at the bench.
Max Martin with the puck behind the goal line. He's got it in the corner, out to the blue line. Quick shot in, blocked at the left wing wheel. Down into the corner. McKinley can't get the puck in the offensive zone. Ferris State clears it out once more. Rappelj slaps it in. 3 Falcons can be the first back. It's Breck McKinley who's got it back behind the goaltender, and he'll waste some time as he sets up camp. Gavin Best on the forecheck. Not a big one for a Ferris State team that really needs an offensive zone turnover. And there's an offsides against the Bulldogs as a pass out to center. And it's taken right back in with Gavin Best offsides.
Already seeing Lundberg. Whenever the puck is not in his own zone, he's looking to his coach on the bench, waiting for the signal.
.410 left to play in the 3rd. Probably about the 3-minute mark or so. That's when they'll pull Lundberg. That's about where they pulled Lundberg yesterday with a 3-goal Bowling Green lead. Gavin Best with the puck, iced in by Sternberg on the positive side of the center line, so it will not be an icing. Turned back over to Brandon Wynot to the left wing. Shot in by Waters to the left of the goal, so it won't even register as a shot on goal, though a very nice chance there. Up to Duran. Duran off the half wall. Bowling Green's content to just keep the puck in their offensive zone, even if they don't set up any offense. Because you waste enough time and make Ferris State have to go 200 feet. Up to Emerson Good. Good in center ice. Forward for Ferris State. Puck is cleared back into the Ferris State end. 2-man forecheck for the Falcons. Now Morneau will drop back, and it's only Don Ryman up. Up to center ice, puck pinned up by Niedermeyer. Jacob Badal off the half wall, down the right wing comes Badal. Down behind the goal line, wrapping it around. Back up at the blue line now on the left wing. Feeds it over into the center. Emerson Good with the puck. His shot in, blocked by Morneau, who tumbles down to the ice. He's had a couple of blocks today. That's 3 for Noah Morneau. Back up to Good. Good shot off of Badal as he spun out of play. Dom Ryman playing defense on Tyler Schleppe. Flipped out of the zone. Chris Lee will chase. Ferris State will probably force this puck up as Bowling Green's getting a change. They got a new set of 5 on. This pass into the chest of Breck McKinley is dropped down.
Extra tackle out
Bowling Green zone, and Lundberg's over at the bench. 2:30 left to play in the 3rd period. Bowling Green with the 2-goal lead. Ferris State with the extra attacker. Moving through the center of the ice is Chris Lee. Nice puck handling for the defenseman. Palmer out of the goal to play the puck. It's into Lee. Dukovic in there to try and gain control of it. Schleppe's bumped into the boards. He's got it behind the goal line, blocked by Jaden Grant. Grant takes it back down behind the goal. Grant is pushed into the boards, and a penalty upcoming to Ferris State. That'll take the extra attacker away. It's Schleppe, who's been both victim and instigator on a lot of chippiness in today's game, especially with Gustav Sternberg. And Grant drew a penalty there.
Can't do that if you're Schleppe. Your team's
that's
down. Your team's down 2 goals. You have an extra attacker out. Cross-check up high. Well, not up high, but cross-check all numbers to the back of Jaden Grant and into the boards.
Just a penalty you can't take if you're Ferris State, and now it's 5-on-4 for Bowling Green in the offensive zone with 2 minutes and 6 seconds left to play in the third. So if Ferris State somehow can get possession and pull Lundberg off, they would have to do so to get it back up to even strength.
Schleppe, a senior, has spent his entire college career with the Bulldogs. Got to be smarter than that.
Ben Duran in the dot for the Falcons. In the O-zone, McKinley and Crampton back. The freshman defenseman can't hold it inside the blue line. Bit of a breakaway now for Emerson Good, but he's got 2 Falcons to beat, and he can't do it. Best back in the offensive zone. Swept away by Ben Duran. It's covered up, actually, by Palmer. Palmer didn't want it to be whistled dead. He was just trying to play it away with the glove. And now an offensive zone faceoff for Ferris State. And it doesn't look like Lundberg's going to leave the net. So that penalty for Schleppe, even though it's 2-goal deficit for Ferris State, might have cost the Bulldogs the game, considering they can't get an extra attacker on the ice. 5-on-4 faceoff for Bowling Green back in their own end, and Norris with the puck for the Falcons. Takes it up outside of his blue line. Is just ahead of Holden Dole. Back down behind the goal line. Norris is tripped up. Sternberg will take steps in from the blue line to battle with Rappeljay for the puck. Ben Duran pins it up against the boards. That's a fine position for Bowling Green to be in with 1:30 left to play in the third and an extra attacker on the ice. Rink back around. Norris will skate outside of his blue line to grab the puck. And some time continuing to be wasted by the Falcons. Sternberg off the half wall to his partner Norris. To Noah Morneau. Morneau back in his own zone.
This power play gives the Falcons a lot of open space to work with to continue to kill clock.
A boring brand of hockey Bowling Green will skate out of this second game with after 5 periods of very entertaining, high-scoring action here in the Slater Family Ice Arena. And the offensive zone now. Bowling Green with the puck. It's Morneau out to Niedermeyer. Niedermeyer with the puck at the blue line. McKinley down to the left wing corner. Brody Waters skates away with the puck. Wonder if they're even going to get a shot on goal. Here's Morneau to Niedermeyer. Niedermeyer's shot is blocked by Lee and looked like it glanced off of Lundberg as well. Under 40 seconds left to play in the game. Here's Morneau, left wing. Waters shot! Score! Might have been tipped in front, but Bowling Green able to ice the game with a power play goal. 5-2. The Falcons lead with 33 seconds left.
Brody Waters will be the first one to the handshake line.
So nobody thought they tipped it. Brody Waters is going to get his second goal of the game after not even having a goal coming into the series.
Leaves the series with 3 goals.
If it wasn't over when Schleppe took the power play,
it is over
more
now.
than likely is now. It's a 3-goal lead, and even if Ferris State does pull the goalie, they'll only do so for 30 seconds. Jack Blake back in the Bowling Green end, pins the puck up against the left wing boards in the Falcon zone. Lundberg will not leave the crease.
And now a penalty.
And now a penalty coming up to the Falcons, it looks like.
I believe it'll go to Jack Blake. Only 20 seconds.
Not too happy about that. So Bowling Green will skate with 4. Simonovic on the ice for the Falcons. Seen limited ice time today.
Only 20 seconds remaining for the Ferris State power play.
Yeah, cross-checking is the call.
Lundberg won't even. Oh, he will skate towards his bench.
Yeah, you might as well here. Although you only have 20 seconds to score 3 goals.
Out there for the Falcons offensively among the forwards, we have Sloan and Tanner Scott. So no chance for Grant or Waters to get a power play goal on the empty net, but potentially, maybe if Tanner Scott can throw one all the way down ice, he could get his first career goal.
Noah Morneau gets his 4th assist of the season on that goal scored a second ago by Brody Waters. There's a lead pass up for Ferris State. Rappeljay, and in the middle, Zary misses his man Gavin Best. Time expiring here in the third period as Bowling Green clears it down and a 5-2 victory in Game 2 of this weekend. A sweep at home in regulation for the Falcons, who played 4 games in a row to overtime and now have took 2 wins in a row in only 60 minutes of play both times. A heck of a series for the Falcons to come away with 6 points. Five to 2 the final score today. 9-5 the final score yesterday. 2 wins for Bowling Green, 6 points toward the CCHA. We'll bring up our post-game show and Bill and Karen Hoffer at Stars of the Game in just a few minutes, and then Burkett and I will sign off here from the Slater Family Ice Arena. You're listening to Falcon Hockey on WBGU 88.1 FM.
The Bowling Green women's soccer team wrapped up its 2025 season in the Mid-American Conference Championship Final, falling to Western Michigan at historic Crew Stadium. Under second-year head coach Chris Fox, the Falcons built their identity around grit, defense, and a possession-based style that led to a program record 13-match unbeaten streak. After clinching a tournament spot with a 3-1 win over UMass, BG beat Buffalo and Miami in back-to-back thrillers to reach the title match, including a 106-minute game winner from junior forward Isabella Mazzaferro. Statistically, the Falcons were one of the best defensive teams in the nation, allowing just 0.59 goals per game, the lowest in program history, and top 10 in Division I. With 27 of 29 players returning next fall, the Falcons are already eyeing another run in the 2026 season. This has been 60 Seconds in Falcon Athletics.
My therapist had told me that I needed to go to AA meetings, but I wasn't sure whether I wanted to go because I didn't want to be an alcoholic. That was not what I wanted to grow up and be. I didn't want to go to AA, but I did, and it wasn't what I expected by any means. It was friendly. I could feel it. I could feel the happiness. It's really great.
Visit AA.org for more information and download the Meeting Guide app to find a...
This is Falcon Media Sports Network hockey coverage on WBGU 88.1 FM.
A series sweep for Bowling Green this weekend. 5-2 the final score of the second game against Ferris State. Yesterday the first game 9-5. The Bowling Green Falcons able to come away with their sweep in regulation all-time of Ferris State. A good feeling one for the Falcons, who were able to do so in just regulation games, which they've lacked the last 4 games played. Ben Korak here with Nathan Burkett. Tonight's Stars of the Game presented by Bill and Karen Hoffer, longtime BGSU hockey fans and Falcon Club members. Today's first star of the game is Jaden Grant for the Falcons. Scored 2 goals as well as the game-winning goal. He, coming into the season, hadn't had a game-winning goal since November 11th of 2022. And he scored 2 game-winning goals this season, 2 goals today, 2 games with 2 goals this season as Jaden Grant had. Brody Waters coming into this weekend hadn't had a goal. He's our second star of the game because he scored 2 goals today, one in the second period, one in the, 2 in the third period, one at about the 6-minute mark, the other with time expiring on the power play. A power play goal for Waters, who's up to 3 on the season now, all 3 coming this weekend. And then our third star of the game, Noah Morneau, he scored a goal and an assist today, added that onto 3 goals scored yesterday and a hat trick for the rookie, and he played outstanding away from the puck as well. Also led Bowling Green in faceoffs, won with 11-8. Lost today. Myself, Ben Korak, and Nathan Burkett here in the Slater Family Ice Arena. We'll give it back to Nate Henners and Andrew Halkowski back in the Cooling Center studios for today's post-game show. You're listening to Bowling Green Hockey on WBGU 88.1 FM.
BGSU football begins action play against Akron on Tuesday, November 18th at Deutsch Elperi Stadium. Tune in to Falcon Media Sports Network Tyler Kavlitz and Sean Connolly at 7 p.m. for kickoff. There will also be an in-studio pregame, halftime, and postgame show hosted by Nate Henners, Artie Abrego, and Brendan Fagan, all starting at 6:35 p.m. on Falcon Radio.
Don't have time to tune into a BGSU sports broadcast? Falcon Media Sports Network will have you covered with live updates of home BGSU athletic events. To follow along, head over to @BG_FMSN on Twitter X.
Here's the deal. We gotta set ourselves up. See, retirement is the long game. We gotta make moves and make them early. Set up goals. Don't worry about a setback. Just save up and stack up to reach them. Let's put ourselves in the right position. Pre-game to greater things.
Start building your retirement plan at thisispretirement.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Welcome into the Falcon Media Sports Network post-game show. Nate Hinners here in the WBGU 88.1 FM studio at the Clean Center, joined once again by Andrew Helkowski. So the Falcons ending their second game of the weekend with another win. The Falcons get 5-2 over the Ferris State Bulldogs. And Andrew, talking about tonight's matchup, what kind of happened to get the Falcons another win tonight?
Yeah, I saw just another impressive offensive performance by the Falcons today. Obviously in the second period, not a whole lot in terms of offense for the Falcons, but in the third period, 2 goals by Brody Waters there. That would put him at 3 on the season. He had 1 last night, which would his first one on the year. So, tremendous effort by him, and then Bowling Green only allowing 1 goal from the Bulldogs. Defensively, a much better performance, I would say, especially in terms of scoring. Allowing 3 less goals tonight than they did last night. Granted, scoring 4 less, but I think playing stout defense is a little bit more important than just hitting goal after goal. Obviously the offense did play quite well, scoring 5.
Yeah, definitely. All right, coming up, we will have our Falcon Media Sports Network player of the game. Also coming up, we'll take a look at what else went on in CCHA this evening, plus what else is going on in Falcon Athletics. Keep it here. You're listening to WBGU 88.1 FM.
Falcon Media Sports Network writes and publishes over 1,000 stories per year, including game previews, recaps, sidebars, opinion pieces, feature stories, and more. Head over to bgfalconmedia.com to view all of our content for every sport throughout the year.
On November 15th, 2024, BGSU Hockey defeated St. Thomas in a shootout, courtesy of a game winner by defenseman Jack Blake. Falcon Media Sports Network's voice of Falcon hockey, Ben Korak, had the call of the moment on WBGU 88.1 FM.
And Jack Blake, for all the glory, trying to put this one away. With the puck, taking it around, far side wheel, working in with the shot, and he fills it! Jack Blake with the shootout winner! First time in the lineup this season, and Jack Blake is the hero as Bowling Green mobs him.
This has been a Falcon Media Sports Network featured call.
And wrapping things up here on WBGU 88.1 FM for our Falcon Media Sports Network postgame show. The Falcons getting a win tonight, 5-2 over Ferris State. Then the Falcons ending this weekend off with a win. Of course, a busy game last night. 14 goals scored last night, with the Falcons getting a 9-5 win yesterday. But today, 5-2. The final score tonight. So, just the losing score from last night was the winning score today. So kind of wild.
Yeah.
Especially after last night. But anyways, getting now into our Falcon Media Sports Network player of the game. Andrew, who is your player of the game?
Throughout the first 2 periods, I was really writing home about Noah Morneau, but I think given his performance in the third period, I think I'm going to have to give it to Brody Waters. 2 goals, one of which was a power play goal. He had 4 shots on goal. He really just came alive in that third period and really put this game on ice, pun intended.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, that third period was quite exciting for the Falcons because they had a pretty good first period. Second period, though, that was really when Ferris State had a chance to come back. But by the third, the Falcons really getting their lead and then ending the matchup, of course, off 5-2.
Yeah, I mean, you always love to see a sweep in a series like this. Conference opponent, huge implications.
Speaking of that conference, by the way, taking a look at what's going on around the CCHA. Of course, the Bowling Green defeating Ferris State 5-2. The Michigan State Huskies defeating Bemidji State. The Bemidji State Beavers.
There we go.
2-1. I almost stopped, but I got it out.
Yeah.
Minnesota State Mavericks tonight defeating the Lake Superior State Lakers 4-2. And one more CCH game. It's still in action right now, and that's between St. Thomas and Augustana. And it's tied right now 3-3 in the second period. That one, by the way, had their puck drop an hour after the other three matchups, including our matchup tonight. So they're still in the second period with that. But again, tied up 3-3 between St. Thomas and Augustana. Going on, what else is going on in Falcon Athletics? Of course, the Davidson Wildcats defeating the Bowling Green Falcons 91-87 tonight down in North Carolina. We'll have a recap of that coming up soon here on bgfalconmedia.com. Also, BGSU Volleyball had an exciting day today. Another win against Buffalo in 3 sets today, and that getting them into the MAC tournament. So they'll be playing at the MAC tournament on Friday, which will be held here in Bowling Green. They're going to be taking on Ohio for that one. So quite a busy day in Falcon Athletics. And then tomorrow, nothing in Falcon Athletics. Kind of crazy to say that, but we will have coverage of that from the Falcon Media Sports Network, or well, we won't have coverage of nothing, but we will have coverage of everything that happened this week coming
everything
up.
Else, right?
Yeah, everything that happened, because it was a busy week, and now athletics gets the day off tomorrow. So, but we'll have coverage of that coming up on the Zig Zone tomorrow evening, 4 to 6 here on WBGU 88.1 FM, talking about everything going on in Falcon Athletics. Of course, pretty exciting after the hockey matchups on this weekend with 2 wins over Ferris State tonight and yesterday. And then, of course, volleyball making it to the MAC tournament. One team, though, not super exciting at the current moment, the football team.
Well,
Gotta mention it.
Yeah. Really just it's been a rough season. Just they've been riddled with
injuries. They had homecoming. They had Battle of I-75. Since then, though,
just really, I mean, like I was saying, just injuries have been really biting them. They're down to their fourth quarterback down the depth chart. Drew Pine, Lucian Anderson, Baron May, all injured. It's just been really rough. And then of course they ended up firing their offensive coordinator Travis Partridge. It's just been not the season that first year head coach Eddie George has been looking for.
Probably not, no. But they will have their final home game coming up on Tuesday, and we'll have coverage of that over on Falcon Radio. So, we'll see how they do on Tuesday, see if they can end the season off at the Doit with a win.
Hopefully. I think they travel then to UMass for their final game of the year, which really they should be able to get a victory in that one.
Yeah, but we'll have to see.
Who knows?
I mean, Kent State, didn't seem like it was going to go that way. Then, of course, it is still sports.
Well,
there's a reason why they play the game and not just go off the analytics. Anyways, so that's what we have coming up this week. And then, of course, MAC tournament stuff coming up on Friday here on WBGU as well as on Falcon Radio 2. Busy week still ahead for sports coverage here from the Falcon Media Sports Network. But that is going to wrap things up for us here tonight. Andrew, thanks for hanging out with me here in studio. Yeah, it was a kind of weird night, just the two of us. Usually we have more people in here.
Well, it wasn't that bad. I had fun tonight. It was
a good night.
Yeah,
good night. Good night for the Falcons. Of course, last night I was here all alone, so it was a little different. So I at least get one person to talk to tonight.
Have some company.
Yes, that's going to wrap things up for us tonight. Thanks to everyone tuning in tonight. We will keep you guys, or you can tune into bgfalconmedia.com or go to bgfalconmedia.com for recaps on tonight's matchup as well as press conferences and pretty much everything going on in Falcon Athletics. bgfalconmedia.com, your place for that from the Falcon Media Sports Network. All right, have a great rest of your Saturday night, and we'll talk to you guys again soon here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
This broadcast has been a Falcon Media Sports Network production. For more BGSU sports news and updates, follow Falcon Media Sports Network on Twitter X at BG_FMSN, BG Falcon Media on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and head over to BGFalconMedia.com.